veces.
What is going on, ladies and gents? Chris, you cracked me the fuck up, dude. Literally, the moment you said you've lost all hope, the stream started. Oh, folks, what is going on, ladies and gents? I am not gonna lie.
Chelsea game, then.
I was late because, of course, I have work and I had to get any last minute news ready and sort it out. Didn't get enough sleep making the show. I made a lot of sacrifices for this to happen today. But not only was I late, but StreamYard was acting up and it wasn't working. So we were stuck in limbo, trying all different sorts of solutions to see if it'll work. And just when Chris had lost hope, it worked. So big up to every single one of you who are tuned in. I am your host, Marshall DVDX, accompanied by the panel of Real Chicken Nugget Chris, Scott, CP, and the Bridge Nation. Ladies and gents, you already know what to do. Smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Check out the links in the description for more content from anyone that usually joins the panel, as well as my own content, music, and all that fun stuff. And leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on everything that's going to happen today in today's stream that we're talking about. And then last but not least, check out the memberships because there's 4 different tiers starting at 99p. Whew. Well, we're here. We made it. Almost canceled the show because StreamYard wasn't working. But hey, everything worked out. We're here. You guys already know how this works. Pretty much your podcast for catching you up with everything that's been happening with the club and all the things going on Chelsea. So, yeah, stick around. Lay back. We got a pretty good show for you guys. Obviously, we're going to talk about a lot of the things that I discussed yesterday in the Chelsea Hour with the panel. And yeah, we'll get on with that. But before we get started, before we actually get into all that stuff, let's start off with the appetizers, just the stories to get us warmed up, chatting, and into the show. And we're going to start off with Roman's book. So, Roman came out with a book. We discussed this a few days ago. And there's been some excerpts from said book that have come out on Twitter that I wanted to bring to the surface, get some opinions, see what we think about it, and go on from there. But we'll start off with this first one, first tweet. So an excerpt or a quote from the book, Roman Abramovich saying that perhaps one day there would be a situation where I could attend a match and say a proper goodbye, but nothing more than that, according to, sanctioned by Nick Purewell. Oh, sanctioned by Nick Purewell, and it's being tweeted by Nazar Kinsella. Then we continue on here. Roman tells Nick Purewell he won't buy another football club after Chelsea. Perhaps one day there will be a situation where you could attend a match and say a proper goodbye, but nothing more than that. As for ownership for a professional role at a club, I am done with that in this lifetime. So not only is Roman never going to buy another club ever again, but perhaps one day when things calm down and, forgiveness can be had, he will be allowed back at the bridge. He will be allowed back in the country, not even just the bridge. And maybe we can have a proper goodbye for Roman, but no, he ain't coming to save you guys. You guys are fucked. Chris, what are your thoughts, bro?
Oh shit, I'm mute. Marshall, probably like another 10 years at least, I reckon, for him to come back. But it does make sense though, him not buying another club. I'll be real. He's literally done everything he has done at Chelsea. He's won every trophy possible. He's made he's made a club like Chelsea one of the most successful clubs in England as well. So yeah, still miss the guy. He obviously buy the big players, and we're struggling to do that right now. We're buying Delaps and all that. So he'd be missed, of course. But yeah, like it'd be great to see him back at the ground for sure, because he is obviously a legend to the club as an owner. That's it. Short and sweet.
Damn.
No, not really.
Everyone has a lot to say about the new owners, but they don't want to say goodbyes or any sentimentality. Or
we all love Roman here. We all love Roman.
What is there left to say about Roman, bro? The issue is we already did our mourning period. It's already over, bro. Like the thing is, like the heartbreak happened years ago, right? Like at this point, it's like
the thing about Roman is that let me be real with you, Marshall.
That's what I'm saying.
Marshall is never coming back, bro. Give up, bro. He's never coming back to this club.
Don't tell me to give up, bro. You know I did give up.
You're telling
the wrong guy, bro.
I would probably put even bigger, stronger money that he will never come back to the UK, bro.
Yeah, of course, bro.
I reckon 10 years. We can say that bet in 10 years, man.
No, him individually, he's cooked, bro. Like he's not coming back.
No, he's never coming back, bro.
You can sneak in.
Yeah, all right, Chris. But listen, at the end of the day, he's never coming back. And I understand. We on this channel we differentiate Roman Abramovich, the footballer, and Roman Abramovich, what he's been, the person outside of football. And the person outside of football is in no way, shape, or form certain words that I cannot use. I don't want to say. That's what I'm going to say. Marshall could look at that, but if Marshall knew where he got his money from and the stuff that he did, he would understand why I would say that.
I mean,
Roman, no.
That's it.
That's what I mean, now this is Russian business.
That's why I said you have to differentiate.
That's nothing to do with us, though,
that's why I always say. That's why I always say differentiate the owner and differentiate with the person.
One of our owners is bruising his knees for a certain orange man in power.
And one of our owners is also doing something else in a certain country as well. So listen, I don't want to say that as well, but let's keep it pushing. But yes, so that's what the point I'm trying to make is that listen, all owners are all bad in my personal opinion. Well, whatever they're doing, because they're all billionaires. At some level, they've already done something back in shape.
They're dodging somewhere, yeah.
Right? But the point I'm making is that with Roman, his shit is so big and known as the person that he's never just going to come back, bro. That's it, simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for those of you who may be younger, for those of you who maybe are naive to the world, you don't make it as a billionaire without, crossing some lines and breaking some rules. Let's just say that. That's like the PG way of saying it. That kind of money is insurmountable. Imagine 100 people. You could probably do that. You could probably imagine 1,000 people. In some circumstances, if you imagined 10,000 people, what that would look like, maybe you can do it. 100,000 probably gets a lot difficult. Now 1 million, you probably don't know what that looks like. You've probably never seen 1 million of anything, right? Now imagine that times 100, 1 billion. It's just not it's not fathomable. So that kind of wealth, the amount of, bridges you probably have to burn and people you have to double cross and shit you have to do. It's
you talking about him?
Talk about people in general, billionaires in general.
Well, I mean, if you, a little bit of history, obviously after the USSR dissolved, all the all the other publicly owned industries got privatized by a couple of people, and those people became very rich because industries that used to be owned by the government went private, and they gobbled up all of these different companies in these different industries, and he was one of them. Like, he didn't betray anybody in as much as he benefited from the fall of the USSR because he had the probably the money and ability to be able to benefit. That's why he's a Russian oligarch. That's why there are Russian oligarchs, and they're not oligarchs in other countries in the same way, because when the USSR collapsed, there you go. You can call me a nerd. Listen, I love being educated, man.
How dare.
Oh, he said that. Jesus.
But it's just like, we know that in this day and age, people who are billionaires, they probably cut corners to get to that point. And that's just like the PG way of saying it. Sometimes they get lucky, seldomly, but most times history has a tendency to show that these people who have made their money made it from exploitation and other ways of cutting corners and stuff like that. So listen, I'm willing to move past that when it comes to Roman. Like, again, I appreciate everything he did for the club. There really isn't another owner outside of maybe Sheikh Mansour who in world football now is willing to take losses on a club just because he likes the club and he wants to see them do better, to the point where like he's willing to lose $1 billion just to see his club win. Which, we had this discussion previously. When it comes to our owners, I like that they are willing to put money into the club. It's just unfortunate that they kind of have this modern view of football of let's make money out of it while we're at it. And that's a lot of football owners. Actually, that's pretty much 99% of football owners from this point forward now. Like, you look at all club owners, a lot of these owners also own multiple clubs. It's not cluelessness. It's just they want to make money out of the sport now. Sheikh Mansour is probably the only owner I can think of right now that runs a successful club, doesn't care about losing money. He just wants to put money into it to win trophies because he enjoys the sport, he enjoys the club, and he wants to back it. He invests in it, and he doesn't want anything back from it. A lot of people aren't like that. And, a lot of people don't also have fuck you money like that too. So there is a way where you can make profit and be successful, but, no one's necessarily... I feel
like Liverpool kind of show that. They make profit and sell a lot of players on the way, win trophies.
Kinda.
I know it's kind of hard to say, but like they do it better than like Man United and all that.
What I will say though is we need to, with the Liverpool things, like it took how long for FSG to achieve that, like respectively. Like the issue is when we're speaking about where we want to be at, and I think it's something even Marshall said about Roman as well, is he wants sustainable, like a sustainable run at the top, right? Something like Madrid is able to do, right? Or like a Bayern, like you're able to be at the top of your league for a very long period of time.
I just like how Liverpool actually run, to be honest. I think they run not all perfect, obviously, there's issues there, but they're pretty well ran well with the structure wage as well and how they sell the players and get new players in. They do it pretty well.
I think we have to see. I don't know, because I think before they actually got Jurgen Klopp, you could say that the owners weren't doing well.
Okay,
they weren't
I agree.
But that's my point. I'm saying like this has been a very good period for their ownership, but we have to see what they do after, right? Like now when Salah leaves, right? When Van Dijk moves on, when Alisson moves on, then that's like the real, right? You got your run at the top. Can you now sustain it?
Right now.
That's great. That's one signing. Like again, we need to take a look at a period of like a decade. FSG pretty much did nothing, bro.
Yeah. And
then they had like a 5-6 year run now where they've been good and competitive, you could say. So what happens now after? I need to see. Because for example, you could say like in terms of ownership, you want to see that consistent success, and I think like what club has really achieved that? Madrid maybe, right? Barca, we saw what happened with them. Yeah. Bayern Munich, PSG, question mark? Like I don't know. It's difficult to get there because it only takes a couple of
run like Barcelona.
No, I mean 100%. The thing is, it only takes a couple of bad decisions for you to be in the mud, but conversely, it also takes a couple of good decisions for you to be at the top.
At the same time, too, like, you know, bringing up what RSM brought up right there, it's when you look at Liverpool, there are Liverpool fans, and I'll even debate it, that like in the time that Klopp was here, did he really achieve enough with Liverpool? You know, he was here for what, 7-8 years, and won a Prem, a UCL, a Carabao, and an FA Cup. So, you know, if let's just give the example, if Maresca were to do that in 8 years, are Chelsea fans going to be happy with that? Like, I would argue Chelsea fans would probably tell you, yo, that's shit. That's not good enough. And that's what I mean. Like, it's when you put it that way and you look at the bigger picture, it's like, okay, is FSG really as well run as you maybe claim it is, Chris?
Well, we'll see where we are like in 6-7 years and see where Chelsea are then.
Yeah.
Because it took them a while, I know. We'll see where Chelsea go.
And listen, like I said over and over again, in terms of like where we are on the table and, you know, winning things, I guess, we are looking like we're going in the right direction in terms of the results.
Slowly.
We won our first trophy under this ownership this season. We got back into UCL football this season. But we could only hope that it improves next season by challenging for a title, going far in the UCL, going far in the Club World Cup, and at least winning a domestic trophy. You know, that's all we could hope for at this point. But yeah, it just puts it into perspective. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if Man City were to sell. If Sheikh Mansour were to step down and he goes to City were to be sold to another company, how football is going to change. But like when you look at that in that perspective,
Man City to be sold though, I would argue you don't even need Man City to be sold because the jig's already up. All barring maybe Newcastle and them, every other club is already owned by, you know, a similar type of ownership. So.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because Newcastle are owned by the Saudi state, right?
That's it, pretty much. Yeah, barring them. That's why
the PIF, bro.
Yeah. Barring them, I feel like, you know, again.
Do you reckon that when City get dethroned, or at least when Sheikh Mansour steps out of the picture, do you reckon Newcastle is going to be the next City?
The problem with Newcastle is that it's the PSR thing, bro.
Yeah, they're trying to fuck up PSR.
They don't have enough of a worldwide fan base whatsoever to be able to justify spending.
It's the same issue with Aston Villa, by the way, as well. Because Aston Villa do have both owners as well. It's just that they also have the PIF problem as well.
Yeah,
like
basically, as City were the last ones, bro. City were the last ones to be able to do it, and then the door got closed after City.
Yeah, because like these teams are starting from such a like terrible point in terms of like they're starting on the back foot because they had I don't know about Villa's owners before, their current owners, but like Newcastle especially, they had terrible owners. They had Mike Ashley, who didn't do anything for them. So when they are now in a position where they can make use of the money and everything, they can't because their revenue sucks. Their revenue isn't anywhere near as good enough as it should be for a club that, with the owners they've got and is trying to be, way more ambitious than they can actually be, if that makes sense.
I'll say that that's one of the only positives that we have is when this ownership group leaves, we will probably be the last like big six club that has the ability to spend a ton, that like these type of like an ambitious ownership that wants to spend money, they'll be able to do with Chelsea in a way that they will never be able to do with Newcastle and Villa.
Yeah, no, and that puts a lot of things into perspective, really and honestly. Like, it kind of puts into perspective how important making revenue is under these, you know, these guidelines or these restrictions, because ladies and gents, believe it or not, if you don't make any revenue because of PSR rules, you essentially can't make any good signings. Like you have to make revenue in order to get signings. It's a stupid rule. I don't agree with it. I think it should be the rule where it's a percentage of what you make, or what was the change that we talked about the other stream?
Oh, the thing is changing too.
Yeah.
So it's changing to you can spend 50% of your wage. You can only spend 50% of your wages on like players, basically, or 50% of your revenue. Sorry, on players.
Yeah, and again, that seems more fair and that seems more reasonable than the whole. Because like imagine if whatchamacallit, imagine if Nottingham Forest actually got top 4, right? Then they're gonna be restricted in terms of how they're gonna improve on that top 4 team and sustaining that based on the fact that, oh, we don't make enough revenue. We have to sell a bunch of our players that got us to this position. It tears apart projects pretty much. Aston Villa, next season, unless they recruit like crazy,
they're done out here, bro.
They're done. Like I think Aston Villa's reign at the top next season. They're gonna go back to being a mid-table club. They might yo-yo back up, but I just don't see the light really.
They'll be fine as long as they've got Unai there. I'll be honest. He is a good enough manager to help them stay competitive.
Fair enough.
Right, for how long though? That's the question.
Until when he leaves, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a good stopgap. Like the issue with the Emery situation is, I agree. Like he'll always keep them competitive in terms of maybe bouncing in and out of the UCL spots, but they'll never be able to actually get the investment that he would need to keep them there for enough time.
Yeah.
And with the way that a lot of ownerships are moving, like it only takes one bad season from Emery and they're moving on from him.
I don't disagree. It's like the bottleneck of succeeding with a Premier League team, right? Like it really is. Like I can't build off of the success. I have to sell what got me there to be able to.
Yep. That's why you have to become
PSR. And go ahead, Ahmed.
But that's the reason why you have to really be able to tap into that market. This is why, like, I feel like with a Newcastle, with Aston Villa, they need to be able to like find methods of like attracting newer fans. Right, and the only way they can realistically do that in this day and age is by winning trophies. I don't think
it's not even just win. By the way, it's not just win trophies as well. They also need to find a way to get a superstar player in that team. Like I'm gonna
they have Isak. That's a superstar.
Stop,
player,
bro.
Man.
Stop. I'm telling you right now. If you put Isak in Chelsea's team, for example, he's getting branding deals. Like, you think Palmer, if he was in Newcastle, was gonna get a Beats sponsorship to be a brand ambassador? No, bro. That's my point. Isak is a good player. He's not a superstar, respectfully, because Newcastle isn't a big enough a team. Like, you need like a Hazard, Neymar level talent. Like, Newcastle needs to try to find that player young and luck out, and then win trophies with that player, and then you can build something sustainable from that. But like winning trophies is like, people also have to care about the players. As much as people want to hate what I gotta say, tell me I'm lying, bro. When Ronaldo went to Juve, what happened?
No one gave a fuck. No one gave a fuck.
But it's like nobody cared about Juve. But you know who followed? All the Ronaldo fans followed into Juve.
Fans did follow. Yep.
That's my whole point. That's what one superstar player can do for a team that is, in a bit of obscurity, and especially today. When you talk marketing terms, right? In the attention market, people only have so much time that they can spend focused on something, right? So if you're gonna convince somebody, I'd rather spend my time watching Newcastle, you have to give them a compelling reason as to why.
And even on that point with the marketing, right? Like I make fun of it because I think it's hilarious, but this. One of the things Chelsea have done pretty well, and they said this from the get-go, right? They want to reach a more global fan base. And that also does happen from partnerships with like the the Ling Long tires and the FTP stuff, you know, other countries.
Or for example,
marketing to other countries.
And what Chelsea's doing, for example, Chelsea in South America, their marketing is all Caicedo Enzo. And guess what? It's working, bro. Like I was talking to my cousin. He lives in Ecuador. He's like, bro. He was like, bro. He was telling me. He was telling me it's crazy. Oh my god.
But then, the big up,
bro.
Yeah,
because
bro.
like,
I was watching man like Halfcast, bro. But I was doing it for hate to hate.
Yeah, that was obviously that's hate. But no, the thing is, like, for example, in Ecuador, bro, like you don't see United jerseys anymore. You see PSG jerseys and you see Chelsea jerseys. Because you guys, that's like you guys don't see it, right? Because you like a lot, like the people who are in Europe, right? Yeah. But in South America and in Ecuador, bro, all the Chelsea ads, Caicedo, Enzo front and center, bro.
I mean, you said it. Your origin story for how you became a Chelsea fan is because Valencia was a big United. Everyone supported United because of Valencia, and you were like so fucking tired. Like players also help, right? Having players from other countries. Also
no, that's the thing.
help.
If Chelsea wasn't successful, then like the shirt wouldn't have been sold in the bootleg market.
I'll be so honest with you before you go, Ahmed. I'll be so honest with you. Like, and you guys saw this. Like, even though look, even TM's comment, this man brother went to Peru and saw Chelsea jerseys. That's what I'm saying, bro. Claudio Pizarro, he's the reason I became a Chelsea fan. Like, he deadass is the reason I became a Chelsea fan.
Listen, but that's the point I'm trying to make, right? Again, the problem I have with RSM's comment about Isak not being a superstar is that Isak is a superstar player. The problem is that Newcastle do not have the guys in their front office, if you want to call it, that are then trying to attract these things to come to them. That's the problem, bro.
You're a British man just said front office when talking about football, man. The game's gone. The Americans are taking over. He said front office.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make, right?
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Because like Isak is a superstar player. There's even guys like Gordon who are like not superstars, but they're quality players. Like they're no names in the league. The problem for me is that
it's Newcastle in American terms, Newcastle is a small market club. That's the unfortunate reality.
That's what I'm. But the thing is, they really shouldn't be because they're like the only team in their own city. They do quite well.
Well, I mean, we speak worldwide, obviously in the region, in the city, but
like so that's why for me, like I do kind of get annoyed because it's like I just feel like a lot of these teams is just the guys that they have that do these negotiation of brands.
Yeah,
aren't doing a good enough job. That's what this comes down to, bro. And like Chelsea's a good example of this. Our former guy wasn't bringing us good deals.
Yes.
Yeah. And guess what happened? Now we've got guys that can do. I'll be honest with you.
No, you know what's a great example, by the way. You know what's a great example? The way Spurs absolutely. Go ahead.
Because listen, Kappa shouldn't be asking to East African. I'm pretty sure if you ask any East African, they know who Isak is. Even my grandma can tell you.
No, but you know the issue is, but hold up, but that's another issue. That's another issue with Isak though. Is what nation does Isak play for?
Sweden.
European nation.
So no, that's what I'm saying. So it's all cool and good that people know him because he's, but it's a different thing when the player actually plays in the continent that they're from. And that's what I'm saying. Like a good example, for example, look at what Spurs did with Son. Son is one of the top 3 big 100%. Faces in South Korea and in Asia. And Spurs made sure to milk every single second of that for his entire career.
They still are. There are literally Spurs fans that were in it because of Son, and when Son leaves, they ask these Spurs fans, what are you still going to support Spurs when Son leaves? And they're like, I don't know, because I literally support Spurs because Heung-min Son plays for them. What were you going to say, Scott? Because I didn't hear what you said.
So for me, that's where the success needs to come in after. So when the player that you cares about leave, the success keeps you there.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Scott?
I was just saying, like comparing Isak to an English player isn't the best. Like, because if you ask any player that wasn't a Chelsea fan or any guy that wasn't a Chelsea fan outside of England, they probably wouldn't know who Palmer is. Bro, they're a casual football fan.
Yeah, and that's also another thing too. Like it's not only is it
to be fair though, a lot of people know the celebrations, so they might tangentially know of him. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's also like not just the marketing outside of the continent, it's also the players you get from outside the continent, right? Like I would argue, and I don't think it's a very crazy argument. I think you guys will agree. As much as we don't rate him right now, and as much as we might be mad at him right now, bro, when Jackson just happened to be at that front post for the goal in the Conference League, the Senegalese contingency, bro, they were going crazy for him. Like, Senegalese fans are becoming Chelsea fans because of Jackson. Like,
Koulibaly?
Nah, I don't think that.
I was being trolling. I was trolling a little bit.
That didn't last very long.
I was trolling a little bit. That's right.
But yeah, man, like, it's like, to an extent too, and I don't agree with it. I agree, just bring in the quality. Who cares about the stardom? But if you can get both, cool. But to an extent, I understand. I don't agree. It means two different people things, chat, before you start fucking going off on me. I understand why, when it comes to the recruitment, they tend to go for these superstar ilk players, right? Like, when it came to Cassidy, he was the hot commodity in that tournament that he played in. So they brought him in. When you look at Enzo, after that World Cup, hot commodity. Caicedo doing what he's doing for Brighton, hot commodity. Palmer, what he was doing at City, hot commodity. When you look at Esteval, Paez, all these players, hot commodity players, like, yo, rising stars. People are eyeing them out, and, yo, these are like, you know, really, really good, you know, up and coming superstars. The marketability is part of it. I don't agree with it. I rather, you know, I would probably say they missed out on Kvara. Kvara probably is a superstar for Georgians, but I don't think they care much for the European outreach as much as they care more for South America, Asia, Africa, the other continents where maybe Chelsea isn't as prominent. But I don't think it's too much of an outreach to say that. Like, I think I understand why they do that approach. I don't wholeheartedly agree with it. Makes more sense though when we put it off that way. But yeah, I think that was a good discussion on well, we were talking about Roman, but let's go on to the show and let's actually talk about Maresca's comments. Maresca had a few comments to speak on Chelsea and all that stuff, and let's see where the panel lies on this stuff. So we'll go on into this next segment here. Maresca, we are a year ahead of schedule with Champions League qualification, as the club had asked me to achieve that in the space of 2 seasons. He also continued on to say, I don't want to lecture anyone. Having said that, the Champions League final has photographed the dominance of a young team, capable of great technical plays expressed at hellish pace, energy, running, pressing, offensive talent. Luis Enrique has built a spectacular PSG in a small way at Chelsea. I am trying to do the same. We'll see if you guys agree with that. Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo were paid a lot, but no one remembers their price due to how much they grew up. Before, a lot was spent on players over 30 who had already given their best. And then Enzo Maresca, final comment I have here is, Chelsea chose me because they had an idea I could grow with the team, because I did well previously, and because I came from Guardiola's school of football. I think I want to focus on this one. And I'll go with Scott, really, because I would like to hear Scott's take on this. Do you think that Maresca is building or is trying? I'll underline trying, right? Do you think Maresca is trying to build something similar to what Enrique has done at PSG?
No.
Okay, elaborate. Why don't you? What are the differences for
because
you?
Because it's in no way, shape, or form the same. The level of player we buy isn't the same. The way the team is set up isn't the same. The people who are above him aren't the same in terms of the level that they can work at. Like, there's nothing about the way that our teams work is in any way, shape, or form the same. Outside of maybe the same type of football, maybe. But like, trying to compare, I hate when people do this, and I saw people do this after the PSG. People go, "Oh, PSG won with a young team, cool." They also had in there a 30-year-old Marquinhos. They had a guy in goal who has played football now for about 9 years, or 8 years. They had a guy at right back who's played football for like 6-7 years, despite the fact that he's in his mid-20s. Like, trying to do this young thing is cool and all. People conflate young, or age and experience. When you ask for experience, I'm asking for someone who can be 25, 26, but have 5 years worth of football at a high level. This is this is genuinely just nonsense because, like I said, even if you want to build the team in the same way, you're hamstrung, which we'll get talking about later on. You're entirely hamstrung in this team because while Enrique's got Campos buying him, Kvaratskhelia in the middle of a season in January, when he's going out buying, João Neves and Vitinha, and putting together that midfield, when he's going out and rehabilitating Dembele, like, we're not doing that.
You know what? You're not wrong. I do agree. I think in terms of if we had the recruitment that PSG had, then Maresca would probably be trying to build something similar. But it does feel like Maresca is working with scraps. Maybe not entirely. I mean, that might be a little disingenuous, but it does feel like he's working with the leftovers.
But do you know what it is though? This is the thing. PSG wanted to currently have a mix. I think what the board or the owners, at least, or the sporting directors want to do is their idea is that the players that we currently have, they want them to reach like 28, 29, and they'll be like the older, more experienced core, and we will continue this conveyor belt of young talent into the club. So right now we don't have the experienced heads, right? We don't have the, the 28, 29-year-old goalkeeper, but their hope is that, right, the team that we currently have, because of the length of the contracts, right, they continue with the team until they're in that age bracket, and then we're going to have the young players. I agree with what Scott said though, however, in the sense that like we are not doing what PSG are doing, right? Like I think the idea of what we're doing isn't necessarily a bad idea. Our execution is trash because of who we have leading the project, because of the sporting directors that we have. But regardless, we will never be able to recreate what PSG is doing, period, because this team exists in the Premier League. And unfortunately, there are many competitive teams in this league. You will never be able to, for example, and when you want to talk about, they got this transfer and they got this transfer in. These brothers have had some of the highest turnover in all of Europe. Over the last 2 seasons, in terms of they buy a player one season, out the next. They bought Ekitike was gone. They bought Ugarte is gone. They got Gonzalo Ramos. That brother wants to, they're looking to move that brother on again. But because they have basically no competition in the league, they can take so many more risks and know that we're still going to win the league, right? We're going to get all the money from that. We're still going to be in the Champions League no matter what. So they can take many more risks that even if we were doing this project correctly, right? Even if we had a Luis Campos, he would not be able to move the same way that he would in PSG, because there's just so many more risks being in the Premier League and getting something wrong than in PSG and getting something wrong. That's it. Everything else Scott said is
didn't they go 20 points clear from second place this season?
They nearly went the entire season unbeaten.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. They only went. I think they got beaten after they won.
No, they got beaten literally the first game after they won the title.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they always win. It's like they win that league like at least like 7 or so times on it. And then
this is where I will. They always do. I'll push back on this a little bit. What they done this season is unprecedented even for them.
Yes.
Like, they do always win their league 100%.
They won a crazy win streak, bro.
Yeah, even when they've had shit managers like Poch and that, or when they've had other like Laurent Blanc, for example, they've still won. What they did this season is unprecedented. They became nearly if it hadn't have been for them literally like rotating their entire team and like not downing tools, but like resting basically, because they got to a Champions League final and they won the league by like March. They were on course to be the 8th team in history to go an entire league season unbeaten.
Wait, have PSG never been unbeaten in a season before that?
No.
I thought they would have.
I
think there's only ever been 7 teams in the history of men's football that have gone a league season unbeaten. I think.
But in Europe, I think there's only been 2, right? It's been Leverkusen was the second team.
It's been in the history.
No, I agree. They were very, very dominant this season, right? But what I'm saying is though that like even in other seasons, like for example, 23-24 season, right? Look at some of their incomings and tell me who's still at the club, who's still doing well. Kolomuani, 95 million.
He was a
Gonzalo Ramos, 65. Ugarte, 60 M's. Lucas Hernandez, 45. Ekitike, 30 M's. Kang and Lee, 22 M's. Xavi Simmons,
You know
they got
what,
Xavi Simmons. They got Xavi Simmons in it, and they sold that brother within the next season. But this is my point, though.
Can
Like,
I push back?
like PSG isn't PSG's in a unique position that other clubs cannot find themselves in. Other than like maybe other than maybe Bayern.
I have to push back on that Arsenal a little bit.
How are they ever going to not be in a position where they are winning leagues for a decade?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm pushing back not on the winning the league section, but in terms of being able to resell players and move them on, right? I think we do that quite adequately well. If we're being fair to ourselves, right? We actually do that quite adequately well. The problem for us is that you look at the guys that they play, they're actually buying. That's, I think, the main differential between PSG and Chelsea fundamentally, right? Right. It's the quality of some of the guys.
Bro, stop. Hold up. You need to be, but we need to be serious here, right? Because what I'm speaking about is the fact that they have an insane level of turnover. We could not afford, for example, as a club, to spend 95 million on Kolo Muani and have that be a dud. Because we hold up. We did it with Sterling. We did it with Sterling. We did it with Nkunku, right? We did it with Mudryk, and look at the position we find ourselves in right now.
The problem was though.
PSG can do that. PSG can do that season upon season, and even if they don't sell well, they can take the loss. They don't really care about taking the loss like that.
No.
For the reasons I explained.
But we need to add context to both Sterling and Thingy. The club fucked up in the Sterling deal and the Thingy deal initially because they gave them wages that they should not have given those two, right? But if you look at the Mudryk deal, obviously obviously we can't move him on now because of his certain issues that he's got off the pitch right now. But I think realistically, the club probably would have been able to move on Mudryk for a decent amount of money, even though I don't think he's good enough as a player. By the way,
120.
False.
You're right.
60.
$120 million, maybe.
Half? No. Half of that.
But my point is, RSM, I think you need to look at their incomings, right, in terms of the last 2 years, in my personal opinion.
But once again, I agree. They have had really good hits in their incomings, but they've had also a ton of expensive misses that unfortunately we cannot afford to replicate.
Okay, I get it. PSG can't afford it. They just won the league. Yeah.
The problem is, RSM, I think when you look at those misses, right, we've had a few misses as well right now ourselves.
But that's my point. And look at where we're in.
We can't afford it like that.
But the thing is, the reason why I can't disagree with this is that we can still afford to make those misses because we still do, because of the PSR and the way PSR acts and the way we do stuff in terms of balancing the books. As long as we sell them for how much is remaining on amortization too.
No, but look at Andres' point though. No, hold on. No, you're right. We messed up on the signings. Yeah. We messed up on the signings, and if we didn't get Champions League this season, what would have happened to our finances?
If we didn't.
Okay,
PSG can afford. No, hold on. PSG. That's what I'm saying. PSG can afford to mess up, and they know that they'll never fall out of the Champions League spots in that league. They can afford to take these risks, and I agree. Then that's what I said. Ahmed, I agree with you 100% because even the model that we're currently doing, it would be more successful if we had better people running it than the sporting directors that we do. So Ahmed, I 100% agree with that point as well, right? But we also have to acknowledge that PSG are in a unique, privileged position that maybe only Bayern could be the other comparable point. But that's about it.
Yeah, and to an extent too, I also don't think
that's also not to Ahmed. That's also to the people that are like saying like, oh, we should just do what PSG did. We can't.
Also, I'm not reading chat anymore, bro. But
dude, right now, Ahmed look decent right now. Bloody hell, mate. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo.
Hold up. I'll
be
got
honest.
you.
Shout out to my guy.
The biggest stumbling block, and the reason, like with what RSM said, we'll never replicate what PSG have done this season and what they do, is because of these sporting directors. We will never replicate it. Like, Alexis mentioned it earlier. We are on the cusp. Well, I imagine we'll be on the cusp of spending 60 million Great British pounds on Gittens. PSG last January.
Say that again?
Signed,
How much?
Hang on. PSG last January signed who is currently arguably the best left winger in the world for about 7 million more.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you say Gittens, by the way?
60 million Great British pounds.
That's great. It's great potential. Yeah.
That's the
Great potential.
The thing is, you see what I mean? Like, sometimes what confuses me about a club, we'll get to in terms of transfer, is that you can't, for me, justify spending 60 M's on buying a Gittens, for example, right? And then in January, for example, yeah, Kvaratskhelia is leaving for around about 70, 75 M's. I'm not translating it into pounds to make our lives easier, Marshall. That is 70, 75 M's, right? And that's 10 million more pounds. And it's in your age range. Does that make sense, Marshall? Like, for me, I look at something like that, I'm like, I don't know how you can justify that on a personal level.
Well, they haven't done it yet, right? So let's also not jump the gun.
Obviously, obviously they haven't done it yet. But the reason why I even bring that up is because they did bid just 5 million less, if I'm not mistaken, right, in terms of transfers just recently, right? So the point still stands in the sense that it's still 10 to 15 million more. You could have gotten yourself a Kvaratskhelia after this weekend.
This is where I go back to where we were just talking about the ownerships, right? I don't think that. Remind me the name of the PSG owner.
Al Khalifi.
I don't think Al Khalifi. That's another club I should have mentioned. There's Sheikh Mansour and Al Khalifi. Both those owners, I don't think care about losing money in their respective clubs. I don't think Al Khalifi is in it to make any money back from PSG.
No, he doesn't. He cares about winning, bro. That's all he cares about is winning.
Which is why you had the Galacticos that they had at some point, which was Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. Even though they didn't succeed, it was one of those projects where, like, he is one of those few owners in the world that are left that don't care about making profit. They just care about winning, right? Again, I before anyone even says that we should go and get a different owner that cares about it, they're very rare.
No, I agree, but I also do. This is why I do hate this, like, what is happening in football in terms of.
I agree.
This move towards just this like accountancy almost that clubs do all the time. And it's obviously you have to do it. You're a business here in the day. I'm not saying just go and spend money willy-nilly, like bankrupt the club. It's like,
putting that number one on the totem pole. That's the issue.
I was gonna say that's where my issue comes. It's the fact these owners are coming in. The first thing they think about is accountancy and business. It's like, bro, for me at least, it's not a coincidence that the teams that have won the most in football have owners whose sole goal in life outside of business is to win. That's not surprising to me. Us under Roman, Manchester City, PSG, Bayern, their number one focus is win. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Their sole focus in life is to win, and obviously not to go bankrupt. It's to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. They're the teams that are successful.
You know what they also say is, Scott, I want to add to a point. One thing that people I don't think know about and realize is that 80% of football teams are not profitable, and that's obviously just from 2 to 3 years ago, guys. Yeah.
No, that's just in general, bro. Like,
I'll be honest. But the point I'm trying to make now, is that because of that percentage of like our own thing, right? Even our own club owners got a profit like recently. A lot of these teams now are trying to become, because we're getting like hyper capitalistic guys, owners that want to actually make money, stuff like that as well on the side. They're trying to now make profit and do the sport at the same time. And sometimes, bro, that does not work in certain sports. I'll be honest, Marshall.
You have to take a.
Obviously, keyword is for now, right? But I understand that. But in terms of like the way football is working as of right now, I'm not. It's a very hard balancing act. I would probably say more than anything else.
Go ahead, Arsene.
Not like, I agree. They need to realize that, like, you need to sometimes take a short-term loss for the long-term game, bro. But like, if you want to every single time, balance the books and make sure everything is perfect, bro, then it's gonna be very, very difficult for you to win, bro. It is what it is. Like, they need to realize that, we need sometimes at a certain point, we are going to need to spend big. And we were all under the illusion that, once we got back into the UCL, right, once the team performed to that level, that would justify, a bigger portfolio of players that we're looking at, bro, like better incomings. Now that we're in there, we're not seeing that. We're like, all right, so then what was the point of us getting UCL realistically, though? Like, if you're going to make this team struggle through the same issues that it did before, because we have the same holes that we did in the team, like, when we ended the season, that's when we're going to start next.
Facts. And that exact train of thought is exactly why I don't care about the Club World Cup anymore, because we spoke about it on our machine the other day, and I'll be honest, like, Joey hit the nail on the head, or I think it was Lucas, actually. Say we win the Club World Cup, we're just going to spend that money on fucking Ekitike or Gittens or the same dudes we're trying to chase now. It's not like that money's actually going towards anyone that, like, It's not like they're suddenly going to turn around and go and get Rodrigo if we win the Club World Cup. They're not.
Yeah.
So I don't care. I don't care about winning that trophy anymore. Like I just don't, because even though it'd be really sick to win it, and like part of me obviously wants to win it because it's a new trophy, it looks sick. Like you just get to like do the shameless thing. But if you actually deep it, the money we get from it, we're just going to use that money to pay for Gittens, bro, who I don't really rate. So I don't care, bro. Like, I just don't care.
I mean, going back to what we were talking about before, because I definitely have my 2 cents to say on all this, but I'll save it for when we get to the segment in a few minutes.
The main event.
What I will say is that in regards to where football is going, I don't disagree with Scott. I mean, I don't like it, but I understand that this is where the direction football is going. I'm telling you right now, like even it was mentioned, Fiorentino Perez, right? Even he cares about profit. If he didn't, then he wouldn't have pitched the Super League when he did. He wouldn't have been a big proprietor of that when he was hurting for funds and so on and so forth. Like, there is an extent, like some of these owners do care about profit, and now in the direction that football is going, and we've had these discussions. I really think the time of signing Galacticos for big money signings, like Verts. I'm not gonna sit here and call Verts a Galactico. I don't think he's a world-class player. Time will tell.
He's currently no. That's where I disagree, Marshall. I think he's currently top 3 in his position.
I'll have to see when he comes to the Prem.
Arguably,
right?
top 3 in his position.
Who Wirtz?
Yeah.
I think he's currently, arguably, with the last couple of seasons he's had, arguably top 3 in his position.
But what I will say,
the thing is, like, I agree that he's really, really good, and I think he's going to be amazing. My issue is, will he be able to operate in terms of getting the same output in a league where he has less space? That's my whole point. I think people think he's going to recreate 1-to-1 exactly the same numbers he's doing at Leverkusen. Now, the performance will still be there. It'll be really, really good, but I don't think that he's going to, like, for example, my question is, do we think that Wirtz could have the season that Palmer did in the Prem last season? That's the question we need to start asking.
But my point in even bringing that up, right, was the fact that, like, we've had this discussion before about Galactico signings. I do think slowly but surely the days of Galactico signings where we had summers where we would see the signings of Rooney, the signing of this and that and that, I think those days are behind us. I think it's going to be a lot less and less.
Madrid's still there. Madrid still exists in this world.
Even Madrid, Bayern 2 years ago or last year bought Kane.
Madrid got Mbappe on a free.
That's still a Galactico signing, bro.
Trent on a free.
Trent is still a Galactico signing. Bellingham,
by the way,
for 100 million is still a Galactico signing.
Marshall, when you say Galactico, are you talking price or are you talking level? Because
I'm talking price, and I should have clarified that.
Cool, because then we need to have a different conversation. Because there are plenty of Galactico signings that have moved on a free. I was on a car journey today. I listened to a video about it. Lewandowski, Vigo. I've completely forgotten the fucking video now. But like those two are the ones that Mbappe, for example, that's a Galactico signing. He went on a free. So that's what I'm saying.
Rephrase that.
When you're
money
talking
signings.
big money signings are still happening, bro. For me, anything above 50 million is a big money signing in this market. Gittens is a big money signing. That's 60 million.
I'm thinking anything over 100. I feel like 80 has become the standard.
Yeah, but bro, you didn't see bro. We barely have seen any 100 mil. Bro, you can count the number of 100 million pound signings on like 2 hands and not run out of fingers in football ever.
And 3 of them are Barcelona.
3 of them are Barcelona. 2 of them are us.
Yeah. One's Madrid. No, 2 are Madrid in a sense.
Legit, it's Neymar, Rudiger. Sorry, not Rudiger. The comment of Rudiger came up as I said. It's Neymar, Mbappe, Coutinho, Dembele, Enzo Caicedo, Griezmann, yeah, Felix.
But also, like, we have to wait, but we have to take into account inflation, because I think the 100 mil signing of today was the 80 mil signing of 5 years ago. And then even 5 years before that, that was the 70, 65
I think
mil signing.
I think the new 100 mil is probably like around like 120 stuff, like what like Enzo Caicedo were to go for. That's probably the equivalent.
Like Jack Grealish was 100 million. That was a big signing 3-4 years ago. Now that's almost becoming the lower end of the spectrum. Now you have Verts pushing 150. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, we're gonna.
They got him. They got him, boys. It's
over,
man.
Let's go, man.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, we got him. But anyone
Finally
else
got
got a
red
point while
carded.
we're waiting for Mark to come back?
Yeah, I just think these Galacticos signings are still going to happen. I think the difference is you're going to see teams try and be clever with it. But I also think the problem is as well is just there are as we're seeing with
What the
teams.
fuck, StreamYard?
I think as we're seeing
Scott.
with teams, they're just making these because again, I know you're talking about inflation, Marshall, but to me, a big signing is like I said, 50, maybe 60 and up. Like if you're spending 60, 70 million output on a player, that's a big money signing. That's what City are doing for Livramento. That's what United did for Cunha. That's what we're doing for Gittens. We did that last season for Neto. Like those big monies. We're about to have a third season in a row. No, we're about to have a fourth year in a row, I think, of spending 60 mil on an attacker. Or sorry, 55 mil on an attacker.
You're seeing no big money signings. Kane went for almost 100 million with a year left on his contract to Bayern. You had Jude going the following season, which was only 2 years ago. Only 2 years ago. Also, on top of that, you also had Holland, which was like 63 up front, but we knew the fucking back end deal to the agent was like basically 100 million signing then too. So that's 3 seasons back to back, which was 100 million signings by 3 different clubs.
But it's like the volume of it, I think, is diminishing. But my point in even saying that is that going back to the original point of I think the sport is changing in terms of now clubs are going to try to adapt the way they build teams. This is my theory. Clubs are now going to try to adapt the way they build teams for sustainability and profit versus signing the most expensive player and winning now versus winning in the long term and sustainability, building a team for cheaper and then, increasing that price and increasing the value of the team for the future.
Marshall, I disagree. By the way, sorry. I just want you said this is not happening or this is happening less often. I'm looking here at the most expensive transfers of all time. In the top 15, 3 of them happened 2 years ago. Sorry, let me rephrase that. 3 of them, 2025? Yeah, 3 of them happened 2 years ago.
Which ones?
In the same window.
Which ones are we talking
Rice,
about?
Caicedo, Bellingham all happened in the same window. Enzo happened the year before. I'm looking at them now. Kane happened last year. Kolo Muani is in there. He's 18th most expensive transfer 2 years ago. Anthony, 19th, 3 years ago. Like this, Guardiola's in here. Neymar's in here. I'm not even talking about the Neymar one to the thing. I'm talking about the Al Hilal one. Like
but
these transfers are still happening and will keep happening.
No, but I think
at the same frequency they've always happened.
I think the point that I think Marshall's making, which I have to agree with him with, is that I think those signings that you're talking about right now, right? I think you'll get one of them per season. I think it's going to be very natural. You're always going to get one more signing from a big club that happens. Maybe if it's like the final jewel in the crown, right? If maybe that team's looking for that one big star player that they need to really finish off the team. That's always going to happen, my personal opinion. But if you look at the rest of the squad, though, the way they build the squad, the guys that they attract, the price ranges that you're going to be getting a lot of these other places in is going to be vastly more cheaper, and a lot more data based and money and at reduced prices as well, which I agree with Marshall. That's why I always said, man, Moneyball has come to the Premier League, bro. Like, all you need to know is that people are more concerned about data, managers understanding data. Why is that the case now? You know what I mean? Why do you want sport directors that look at data for players and stuff like that? Because that is the new common thing, basically, right? When they look with what they're looking for players now.
And to be honest, like, I do feel to an extent it's clubs fighting back against these outrageous fees, right? Like, it wasn't too, the case, yeah. It wasn't too long ago where we saw how much Kylian Mbappe was ringing PSG out for a transfer fee and what PSG had to do to keep Mbappe. He was like co-owner of PSG. He was in charge of transfer, like the ridiculousness and the amount of power that it took to have that player. It wasn't too long ago where I think Erling Haaland, when we were negotiating before the release clause, I think it was estimated to be 150, 125 mil at that time, 4 years ago. It's an insane price that a lot of clubs, I'm sorry, they're just not going to be able to sustain it. Like, there will be 1 or 2 signings a season where that happens. But I recall like maybe 5-10 seasons ago where you can get a lot of players that were like top end, world class in one window. Like we always look back at that window with Conte, right? With Diego Costa, Fabregas. Like I just don't see. You could probably make the comparison right now. City are doing that. You got Cherki, Randers, Nori. Who's the other one they freaking signed as well?
Listen, all three of the they just mentioned, Marshall, they're not of that level though. They're guys that Cherki probably is gonna need a year in the league. Randers is probably gonna need a year in the league, right? And who's the other guy that they brought? Nuri. We know about his strengths and weaknesses. We're gonna have to see how he works out in that team. So, but they're not of the level of like world class or elite right now. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who was the fourth signing that fucking City got this week?
Bettinelli.
Oh, really?
Really? That was the fourth?
Bets, man. Bet the bets.
Yeah, they might be getting a fifth on soon.
That helps me transition into the next topic anyways, which I wanted to bring up with you guys. Also, pardon me just leaving suddenly. For some reason, StreamYard kicked me out. But let's go into the next topic, which is Bettinelli, actually, funny enough. So, Man City are ready to make a move on Chelsea's third-choice goalkeeper, Marcus Bettinelli. Bettinelli has been targeted as the right profile to support a goalkeeper stable led by Ederson, with hopes of a deal before the transfer window closes on Tuesday for Club World Cup. Teams to sign players for the tournament. Shit, I didn't mean to do that. Wait, did I do it right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Chelsea are appreciative of Marcus Bettinelli's service over his 4 years at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea expect to finalize talks soon and agree for him to join City in time for the upcoming Club World Cup. Pretty sure this is done already anyways. I just don't know how much.
It's already been finalized.
Wasn't really big news. I mean, you had a lot of fans apparently losing their heads over this. I'm sorry, I don't. Really
Wait, what? Why?
No, it was just the vibes, bro. They missed the vibes, bro.
I also
did he even play a single game?
Him being in there added a level of
okay.
Not experience, but like more.
He was low key big brother. That's why everybody cared about him.
Yeah,
bro. He made the WhatsApp. He made the WhatsApp group chats. You feel me? He said everybody, like the good morning gifts and shit. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like they just miss the vibes. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think vibes may be like I think just in terms of having that arm around them sort of thing, like that's I think all you're gonna miss with him being gone. Like I'm not that upset. You are gonna miss that. Like people will laugh, but that is an important thing.
Also, bro, Bettinelli was the reason why we got really good training videos. Like, oh my god, he shot at top bins. It's like, yeah, bro, because Bettinelli was there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't have been the same without him. It's like, when? No, bro, stop laughing, bro. It's like when.
I'm sorry, bro. Like,
stop. It's like in other sports, bro. Like, when like. Somebody throws a pitch, the catcher, he frames it, or like, somebody's throwing the ball, the receiver, like if he's, doing this and doing this, like, oh, that was a terrible catch, but if he makes it seems like, it was a good, I'll tell you, like Bettinelli was there, man. It was good PR.
Bettinelli crawled so that everyone else could run.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Oh, God, we're going to miss him, bro.
That's what I'm saying. The training videos are not going to hit the same, bro. They're not.
The problem is,
especially if we integrate Penders. Penders, if he's a good keeper, he's not letting the Nico Jackson top bins in.
Can you imagine if we keep him training videos anymore? Can you imagine if we keep Penders to be third choice keeper?
I think for me, with Bettinelli, I think Bettinelli was clearly like a good guy in the dressing room, and those are big things. A lot of people I think seem to not realize that you need these type of guys in the dressing room. Bit more of an older head, particularly with such a young squad that we have. He's a necessary that needs to be there. But sadly, you've lost him. We can replace him with a bit more of a elder statesman as a goalkeeper who can kind of do that job as well.
Also, by the way, on a side note, with him being gone, we may need to end up keeping one extra like English or homegrown player. Obviously, he counted towards it every single time, and with him being gone. It may mean that someone like a Madueke probably won't get sold this summer because we need to keep him. Because at the moment we've got 13, so we can afford to get rid of 5, and one of them needs to go, being Sanchez. Well, 2 of them need to go in Sanchez and Dewsbury Hall. I've also included in that George Achapong and Kellyman. Kellyman's definitely going on loan, so that's 3 you need going.
True.
So. you're not wrong about losing the vibes, but next season, there's one person who can save the vibes.
You cook much at home?
Yeah, I cook very well.
Shameless bastard.
We got to our boy Disasi, man. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God, bro.
He'll bring
Oh,
back the
man.
vibes. He'll bring back
Break
the
Nation,
vibes.
man. Oh my God, give it
I
up,
mean,
bro.
he is actually a good vibe. I agree.
You know, people can hate
He's-
Disasi so much. People
when
hate
he-
Disasi
Yeah,
so
bro,
much.
bro, it's
Tap the badge.
Yeah, like when it comes to like crowd
listen, bro.
command,
Nah,
like,
you know, like that's what I'm saying. It's a great vibe when seeing the celebration. It's not a great
Listen,
vibe when I'm seeing the
hey,
winger. When
hey,
I'm seeing the
bro,
winger
Ask
leaving him,
ask the
eating
match
dirt.
going fans who their favorite player is.
They're not saying the sassy, bro.
They're saying the saucy.
Hey, on a bench player,
Not
man.
performance
It's
wise
crazy.
though.
Hey, on a bench player is crazy, man.
Yeah, no. The fans love.
He
the
said
saucy,
hitting on a
bro. They
bench
love
player
the
is
passion.
crazy.
They
Fuck
love
this,
the
man.
passion.
I can't wait till he leaves, bro.
let's
Facts.
bring back
Don't
Gilchrist.
fuck
Yeah, let's
yourself,
bring
Scott,
back
man.
Gilchrist and
You
replace
know
him
what I
with
mean? Because you have no heart, mate. You know what I mean?
Ah, fuck
he's
out of
pure
here,
passion
seriously.
as well,
Shout out
man.
to Disasi,
Fuck
man.
you. No, this made me mad, bro. I'm serious now. No, we're done. We're done. None of this left back. This
So
left
this
back?
ain't so this ain't so this ain't.
Hey, Disasi actually played wide back majority of the season with Villa as well. He's a
Because he's
fullback.
such a centre back.
Yeah,
No,
he's a
I'm joking. He's actually alright centre back, but he just doesn't.
Why does he not play centre back for any
I
club?
don't know. I honestly don't.
Any
understand.
manager, like
he's
he's a
obviously
people
not better
man.
than
Don't
what they have.
understand.
Like, because he obviously wasn't better for them than what they had.
He's a good. He's a
Yeah.
good wide back.
They're trying to shoehorn him in by putting him at a right back. That
Yeah, because he
cost
wasn't
them-
better in concert.
Literally
at centre
cost
back.
them the Champions League.
Yeah, because he wasn't better in concert at
Yeah.
centre back. That's why, brother.
So just keep him in the bench. Then.
Where's
Like, what are
Gilchrist?
we
Actually
doing?
speaking about obviously. You know,
He's come back on loan. He's part of the like
Yeah,
50 players
Ah.
that we've got
The
that are
Brown
not included
squad.
in the squad.
yeah. We'll include that
Still
in the next show.
passion.
It's a little slow.
Bro,
you know?
when I say 50,
Fine.
well, 1, 2, 3.
There's a lot. There's 43. I want to say that's.
No,
what I
there's
guess.
He's English, man.
20
That's
players. So
our
if you
English
just look on Wikipedia, there's 20 players that are like, you've got obviously the squad, you've got like development players, and then below that you've got other players under contract, and there's just 20 of them. All guys that have come back from loan, just 20 random dudes.
So before I continue into the next segment, ladies and gents, over 100 of you guys are watching the stream, but I don't even see more than 50 likes,
Yo,
which is
respect.
if we can't get the stream over 50 likes, then we deserve the Sassy at right back. That's all I'm gonna say. We deserve the Sassy at right back. So if you don't want to see that, let's try to get this stream up to 50 likes at least, with over 100 of you guys watching. So smash up the like button, because you don't want to see the Sassy at right back anymore. All right? Exactly, Yandu. That guy does think. Oh, so does Alfie as well. But speaking on... Oh, and fuck me. I forgot to read this chat before. Sorry, Lurifix. I'm reading it right now. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lurifix. Roman got rich by buying voting rights and shares from poor, uninformed Russians for peanuts after USSR's collapse, gaining control of massive assets.
Sounds about right.
Totally, bro. Anybody who had money, anybody who had a bit of money after the USSR collapsed, bro, they're all now millionaires.
Brain
Billionaires,
investment, I guess.
probably, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, minimum
It's,
you're a millionaire, but billionaires, yeah.
Yeah, minimum millionaire, which is still a lot of money. Still a fuck ton of money. Yeah, but yeah, ladies and gents, the point still stands. 50 plus likes. Smash those like buttons. Don't be a square, and don't ask for the Sassy at right back. So please.
Facts.
Okay, let's go ahead into the next segment, which is Santos. I'm not gonna come to the conclusion that he's staying, but it's looking more and more likely he is going to stay. So, quick little segment on this one. I have a tweet on it. Fabrizio Romano reporting here that several clubs are trying to sign Andre Santos and make a deal happen, but Chelsea are planning with the player, and Santos also wants to stay. Now, I'll say this, and I'll remind people that it wasn't too long ago that there was theories going out in January that we want Santos to keep playing at Strasbourg so we can sell him. Now, I didn't disregard it. I said, okay, that is a possibility. There's also the possibility that they do keep him, which I hope is the truth of it. And we all said, well, not all of us, but I said, and I think most of us agreed, that this summer window is going to be the biggest window in terms of dictating what the hell this ownership are actually going to do, what the hell these boards are actually going to do, Are they actually just about pure profit? Do they care about the well-being of the first team? Do they care about, bringing a path to the first team? And, there is debate for that, which we're going to have very soon, I'm sure, because we're going to go over the Club World Cup squad in a few minutes. But, yeah, Santos is staying, it looks like. Do any of you guys still have your doubts? Are you guys happy to see this? Go ahead, Chris.
I'm happy.
No, I think he stays. It makes sense for us to keep him. Like the season he had last season, obviously, it speaks for itself. And I don't see a club going for like a serious price where I don't think Chelsea accept. Even 50 million, I don't think Chelsea accept. I feel like it has to be 70 or upwards, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but yeah, like I feel like the club will keep him. He's a club rotational player for sure. Like he's gonna compete with like Caicedo and Enzo and all that, like for sure. Like we must remember as well with Lavia's injuries, it's not gonna be certain like how fit he will stay. So he will be like that player.
Mm-hmm. Andre Santos is still not set in stone.
This guy,
He
man.
demands to start since it's World Cup year.
All right, let's just keep her. Yeah,
What was
let's
that?
keep her real. Listen. Let's just keep
Just
it real,
comment.
boys. Let's keep it
No,
real.
I thought
We all know what's about to happen with Andre Santos, right? This season, he's gonna have his breakout season in the Premier League. He's gonna get a really good DNA.
Yep.
Next season, Bayern Munich bring in an 85 million bid.
Imagine that happens.
And then here we go for a 25-26 season. That's what people are thinking. I don't know what people are thinking, by the way. That's what
By the
people
way,
think is gonna happen. And
This is the one thing though. I will say though, like any good players that actually make it into the first team, like they've shown zero willingness to sell them at a whim.
No. You didn't get my point, RSM. My point is I was making it as a joke because I know that's what people are thinking.
Yeah, of course.
You know, he's gonna play one season EPL, gonna look really good, and they're gonna have great moments in it, and then they're gonna sell him. You know what I mean? The thing is, man, it's
The goalposts have shifted.
Yes, exactly. So as I've said before, it's yet to be seen what's gonna happen with him. It seems as of right now, he's gonna be staying for the Club World Cup. We'll see what happens if there's a transfer that comes in to him right now.
Who is the biggest club after him? Do you know?
Bayern is the biggest club.
Bayern is Bayern.
But for me, Marshall, you know what I will say to you? It'll be interesting to see what happens when a bid comes in for him and the way the club reacts. That's when I think we'll see. The club's true.
Mate, I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be the based on the club, and I do think that comment from before will be interesting to see where his head is at come January if he hasn't played as much, because I think he will. I think he will, and I think he is going to have a good future. But he has now got a taste. He's now played games for Ancelotti for Brazil. This is a World Cup. This is a World Cup year. If he's not playing a lot of games, which I don't know if he will, hopefully he does, but we don't know yet. We don't know if Maresca likes him.
Hopefully he doesn't, man. We don't need him to go to the World Cup, man.
He could be the one who's not playing that pushes for a loan or something to make sure he gets in the Brazil World Cup squad.
Especially because Ancelotti is probably gonna hopefully.
Loki, not even the Santos. Esteval's another one. Loki.
No, Esteval I don't think is as.
Esteval. Hold up. Esteval. You know what Esteval's done in here? Because look at what Ancelotti did to Endrick. Ancelotti hates young players, bro.
But he doesn't like him.
He's
but
true.
He
That's
did
true.
play
He
him.
doesn't like him.
But
No.
He doesn't like them. But
he doesn't like them.
I think the other thing with the Esteval thing though. The other thing with the Esteval thing though is like, at least with him, you can say there's more competition like ahead of him compared to with Santos. Like if everyone's fit, he's got Rafinha ahead of him. Like he's got who else plays on the wing for them? He's got Rodrigo ahead of them. I know they suck like for Brazil, but they're still ahead of him in the pecking order. So it's like at least with them, it's like okay, you might get picked as like the third choice winger.
You know what? First,
Anthony. But with Santos, it's like, who's he competing with?
No,
like,
he desperately.
Bruno. That's it.
Bruno and maybe Joe Linton.
Yeah, those two.
No, bro.
It.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Is like he's played Brazil's already played those, and the issue is when you have only bruisers in the midfield, like it doesn't work, bro.
You never know. You know what? Yeah, and just saying.
The issue is Santos can actually.
Get a bid soon. Madueke might get a bid from Bayern. You never know, bro. You never know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Like Casemiro, Guimarães clear of all them. Like I don't think that there's a single
Casemiro's too old
Brazilian.
now. I hate to put it like that, but in football terms, he really.
No, you don't got you don't need to hate it. It's the truth, bro.
No, I don't like to be a dickhead, you know, because like I don't.
No, because there's the other guy. Yeah, pretty much the only person he's fighting against is Ederson from Atalanta. That's about it.
Yeah, like that's why I say like I don't think the club's ever going to want to sell him, but I do wonder whether if he isn't playing as much as he wants, and because obviously we're going to have that international break in September. Is there another one before January, or is that no? There's one in October, no, or November.
There's one in March always, but the March as well.
Well, no.
For what? What are you guys talking about?
International break.
September. It's September.
Is there another one? Is there another one before January, or is it just September?
I don't think so. Because
November.
It might be a friendly, just like a friendly thing.
Okay,
it might be like a friendly thing.
The November ones will be interesting. Like if he's still getting picked come November, if he isn't playing a lot, then I think this is a moot point. It's not an issue. But if he gets dropped,
no. For me, Scott, the thing is, hold up. Brazil already qualified. Brazil already qualified for the World Cup. Yeah. So the interesting thing will be if this next international win. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they're already. There's two more qualifiers left.
Yeah, Ecuador and Brazil qualified because of other results that happened. So now it's impossible for them to fall out of qualification. Okay. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Santos plays these next games, right? Because if he starts playing him as a starter in these next games, that to me will say like I'm looking to see who can play in the midfield, and if Santos can get a start in there. Because when they needed to qualify, like Santos was coming off the bench, which is understandable because he wants to go with like the tried and true.
These next friendlies they're going to be playing, or the next qualifiers are going to be preparation for who's going to be potentially starting in the World Cup. So that's what I'm saying. If November he's not picked or he's like on the fringes, then I'm saying it might be him that pushes for something. Like I said, this is all speculation from myself. I have no idea what's going to happen. He might play every game from now till January. Then this is a complete.
Scott Boomer them boys.
That is something to look out for.
But this is also what I was saying in January. Like, if we were to call him back in January, which, listen, I still think it was needed. In a selfish way, I would have wanted it, right? But if we were to call him back in January, who's to say he's going to get the starts as soon as Lavia's fit? And then if he doesn't get as many starts, maybe he doesn't get the call up to this qualifier recently. And it ruins that. And then it also forces him like, you know what? I'm not getting the play time I want at Chelsea. I was starting at Strasbourg. Just sell me. It's like I don't know how these things are going to develop. So I always kind of give the benefit of the doubt on either side, whether it's against the owners or for the owners or the directors. Like I try to get the balanced take on it because I understand Ugochukwu was one that we should have just called him back, and especially now considering it looks like he's just going to get sold. In hindsight, now we look at it, it's like, yeah, you could have kept Santos at Strasbourg because they were going for a fucking European run. They did get it. It wasn't UCL, unfortunately for them, but they did get Conference League. Great for them. But Ugochukwu, like, the guy was in a relegation team. You could have just called him back. But my point being is that
up until that point.
My point being is that
but we need to maintain his value.
If he had come back, maybe he's used as a rotational piece, doesn't get as much play time. I think he still would have gotten play time, but it goes back to the argument you guys are saying right now.
We had Reece James playing in midfield basically every other game. He would have got game time.
Yeah, he would have gotten game time because it's, I'll be honest, Marco. And plus Enzo was like, I'll be honest, towards the end, he was losing a bit of gas. I'll be real. And he right, so
there was a certain games, I think it was
he was
looking a little less.
I completely forgot. We had Gusto coming off the bench to play midfield some games.
Yeah, legit. A lot of lads would have gotten game time. Like a lot of our players.
Bro, we said this Ugochukwu, bro. He would have been eating good.
And you know what's funny about? I said this before. All of Ugochukwu's attributes are virtually the attributes that we need in the team to push the ball forward, to move the ball forward that we all knew about. So that's why, for me, I've always said, we needed my boy Leslie. But, sadly now, Leslie's going to go somewhere else and shine.
It looks like it. We'll definitely talk about that. But, yeah, it's just like one of those things with Santos that I think he's still going to get plenty of game time this season. I think he'll be satisfied. Bless you. I think he'll be satisfied with the game time he's going to get because we have so many games. We got Club World Cup as well. And I think a lot of these players need to not worry too much about Club World Cup minutes.
Champions League.
Worry more about the regular season minutes.
I think this Club World Cup is a good indicator for certain people in terms of...
Unfortunately, yes.
Like the Santos thing for
I'm not
example.
really care of the club, to be honest.
Yeah,
Actually,
I want
to
to
be
ask
honest,
you.
it's mainly him, to be honest, because like Penders is going to be third choice, so he's not going to get like basically any mid games. We didn't bring anyone else back, did we?
No.
Well,
But
let's actually talk about this.
Before we go to that, I have
ask
one
your
question to ask, and it's about Santos. Yeah, if we do get in the bid, because I think, listen, this market is very unpredictable. We're putting 60 million, possibly 60 million to 55 million bids already for buying of Gittens. If a bid of that 60 to 70 million, let's say 70 million, because I think that's probably an ideal range of where the club will probably sell Santos games, comes in, do you think they buy it? That's the honest question I would ask you.
I don't know.
I think 80 million pounds.
They'd buy for that.
Yeah.
And
I
I wouldn't even feel
genuinely-
bad about it.
I genuinely don't know because we have no reference to go off. Like, we have no reference.
No, but
Yeah.
what I will say is I'm pretty sure. Again, somebody should fact check this, but I think a while ago, I think Bayern did put in a bid for Santos, and I think it was like around what, like 50, 60 or something. And
I kind of recall that vaguely.
yeah, right. Like that sounds like that's something. It, like I think they put a bid for Santos for like 50 or 60, and Chelsea said no, which means like for me it will have to be like something probably around like 70, 80 then. Which I don't think Bayern are willing to do. I think we're fine. I think Santos ain't going nowhere, bro.
The thing is, though, if you look at their midfield, that's the reason why I always talk about Bayern. Yeah. Obviously, the guy from Fulham, Paulinho, hasn't really worked out there. He's on the move. Goretzka on the move. You know, Pavlovic is probably the only guy they've got there, and Kimmich, who's really been used more so as a right back these days than he's as a midfielder. So there is a gaping hole that they know they need.
And they've signed a midfielder, to be fair.
I don't know who they signed. Who did they sign?
Bischoff from Hoffenheim, young 20-year-old kid. He's been
That's
pretty
what I'm
good.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're fine, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of the Club World Cup squad, right? There's one player that is coming into the Club World Cup squad that I don't know. I don't know about this one, to be honest. From what I've seen, he's not wowed me. He's not impressed me, but maybe you guys think differently. And that's Mamadou Sarr. He's been introduced. He is now in the Chelsea squad. Let's discuss it. So Mamadou Sarr, 19 center back, will travel to Chelsea tomorrow to complete his move. This will allow him to play in the FIFA Club World Cup. If you guys don't know, he was signed for Strasbourg last January. And this is obviously the promotional video, him being introduced at Chelsea.
Wow.
I don't know. Honestly, Strasbourg towards the latter half of the season, we're doing a better job of keeping clean sheets. Obviously, he is part of that happening. However, I don't know. I think he's still a little raw. He's not done anything really to wow me. I am willing to give it a shot to see how well he does. But
trust me, bro, with Fofana, you're gonna get your game time, kid.
Nah, that is true.
Unfortunately,
that is very true as well.
It's the same thing with Santos, bro. If Santos, I'm telling you right now, if Lavia was fully fit, Santos would have been flipped already.
Yeah, no. I do believe that to an extent. I actually do. Ahmed, what are your thoughts on this kid?
He's a young, talented lad. Obviously came from the Lyon Academy. For those who don't know, and Lyon really pissed when we brought him. Yeah, he's still young. He's still very raw talent. He is prone to making a mistake or two.
Definitely is raw, yeah.
Right, but I don't know. But again, it's another type of guy that I look at. I'm like, I'm not sure I need him in the team right now. If that makes sense, Marshall. It's not what I'm looking at.
100%.
It's not what I'm looking at right now. I'm like saying, is he the game changer that I need? Is he a guy that I need that's gonna be helping something out for me? And I'm like, I don't really think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like people like Chalobah as well, like who has a lot more experience to be ahead of him. What do you mean? What I mean by that?
I'm just reading comments.
Oh, no, I just think like Chalobah, obviously.
But he looks good. I'll be honest, man. He looks too skinny for me, man.
Yeah, I said he looks very lean for a centre back. He needs a.
Yeah, he looks too lean for a centre back, bro. That
usually
when you've got a very lean centre back, by the way, it usually means they rely on the slide tackling than the speed. That's the two things they really, especially slide tackling.
Maybe ability on the ball as
and
well.
And that usually, and in the EPL, where they love their VARs. You know what I mean? The slide tackling is a bit of a worry. I'll be honest.
We'll find out. We'll find out the hard way.
This music is going.
Wow, Chris, the hard way. Do you need to say it was
if he's gonna be our starter, we're gonna find out the hard way.
Yeah, I caught you out, Morning Zombie. It is what it is.
Wow.
But Sarr could still go back on loan. It's not certain he stays. Yeah, I mean, after reading the tweets, it looks like he's going to be evaluated. But it also depends on player sales, right? Like, if we do end up selling Disasi and Badiashile in the summer, then it's very likely there will be room for Sarr to, go back out on loan or something like that. He was signed through Strasbourg, and then we bought him from Strasbourg.
For me, for him to get regular minutes, Chalobah has to leave as well, because even if Badiashile and Disasi go, we still have 6 centre-backs, including him.
I'd rather just keep Chalobah there. He's got way more experience, and I feel like we've got a decent centre-back with Chalobah who can do a job, who's good on the ball, who's decent at defending, I think. With this kid, I don't know what we're going to get.
I'll be real, I don't care, bro. Like, I'm not hyped for any of these guys, because we've seen with this club, like, that he could play well and get sold. He could play well and get a loan. He could play shit. Who knows? I'm not hyped about any of them. Outside of Santos, because like he's the only one to actually like perform to an unreal level. He's the only one.
Don't you think like
him and Esteval, I'm kind of hyped for as well. I just need to like relax a bit on Esteval just because the age thing, and like he just needs to get used to playing in the league and the physicality and everything. But yeah, I'm not hyped about any of the rest of them.
I didn't want Hoyson, CFC unit. Just FYI, I didn't want Hoyson.
But even if Hoyson, the argument still applies here to you. You need to have some level of like, of like your
Get
muscle.
some meat on your bones.
You know what I mean? Like there's natural strength, and then there's obviously, strength that's built out by the gym.
But yeah, we'll see with Sarr. I'm on the fence about him. He's still very young, also 19, which we all know with center backs usually they hit their prime. They're more consistent when they're older and they're making less mistakes, so on and so forth. So time will tell with that one. He could be good. I don't know. We'll see in the Club World Cup. Now, let's get into some of the big things that happened in the last 72 hours since the last show. And that's the Maignan deal. We'll start off with that, right? And this is probably going to get intense because I already went on a whole rant about all of this yesterday, and I haven't heard from you guys. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. All right, let's start off with the first couple of tweets I have on this, right? Ramp getting to past into the present. Exclusive. Chelsea submit bid for Maignan worth 15 million euros as final decision will be up to AC Milan. Chelsea want to get the final answer on Maignan negotiations by the end of Club World Cup window on Tuesday. And this was tweeted 4 days ago, a few hours, I think, before the Club World Cup window closed. Fabrizio reported here that still no agreement between Chelsea and Milan for Maignan. Conversations ongoing even on Sunday afternoon to try to find a solution. Let's see what Chelsea decide to do. Chelsea feel he wants to come, but Milan aren't accepting 12.6 million pounds. There's not much time. Contacts ongoing. Just in, Chelsea and AC Milan are discussing the possible add-ons in the Maignan deal, trying to figure out if there is a way they can agree on a structure, according to Fabrizio. Sky Cava said, Chelsea will end their interest in AC Milan goalkeeper Maignan if deal cannot be agreed by tomorrow's 7 p.m. deadline. That was as of 3 days ago. Chelsea stayed at 12.6 million today due to Maignan's desire to wear blue. Milan does not accept. Chelsea must raise the offer. Talks continue into the night, according to 86 Longo, which has been a big prominent source in this whole fiasco. And then here's the big bomba that we found out 2 days ago. That, drove the fan base crazy, understandably so. Exclusive, Maignan deal now off between Chelsea and AC Milan. Chelsea not willing to meet Milan prices, deal not proceeding in time for Club World Cup as Chelsea won't pay Club World Cup tax. CFC maintain full trust in Petrovic, Sanchez, Jurgensen, plus talent Mike Penders for goalkeeping role. And I want you guys to pay attention to this part right here. Chelsea maintained full trust in Petrovic, Sanchez, Jurgensen, and Penders. So we continue on. Chelsea were not looking at recruiting a goalkeeper until they were offered Maignan. Chelsea now unlikely to sign a goalkeeper this summer, according to Sky Cava. Cava also here, the more, a bigger report. Chelsea have walked away from potential deal for Mike Maignan. They were offered the AC Milan goalkeeper, and they were offered the AC Milan keeper, and they valued him at between 10 to 15 million euros. They never made an official bid for the player, and they refused to consider paying more than their valuation. They have faith in goalkeepers at the club, and they are now unlikely to sign a goalkeeper this summer. It was not a position they were looking at recruiting this summer until they were offered Maignan, who is the number one French goalkeeper. It is unlikely they will sign Jamie Gittens today from Borussia Dortmund, which we will talk about in the next segment, as they have not been able to agree a deal yet in time, and time is running out. The deal can be revisited later this summer, but they also have other targets in this position. Worth noting, Chelsea can go for Maignan in January and sign him on a pre-contract for a free transfer. They also saw him as an opportunity, but remain content enough with Sanchez, Petrovic, and Jurgensen as options. A deal for Maignan is now looking increasingly unlikely, as Milan are not budging away from their £25 million price tag, according to Nazar Kinsella. What the hell did I just do there? A deal for Maignan is now... Okay, I clicked it by accident, that's why. Enzo Maresca did not ask Chelsea to sign Maignan, and the quartet will battle it out in America to be first choice. Chelsea are happy with the quartet of keepers they have to choose from in Robert Sanchez, Filip Jurgensen, Petrovic, and Penders, according to The Athletic. So, as a result of all this, and I haven't been able to find these posts, PR and a bunch of briefs came out. Very similar to one another. You have Nazar Kinsella and Ben Jacobs relatively saying the same exact thing. But Jacobs saying, worth noting, Chelsea still retain faith in Robert Sanchez, who finished the season strong, Filip Jurgensen, Georgi Petrovic, and Mike Penders. Chelsea spent around £45 million on Jurgensen and Penders and backed both to become elite goalkeepers. Maignan was a market opportunity explored by the sporting directors. Enzo Maresca not driving the move, and Chelsea sticking to their valuation. Nazar Kinsella is similarly saying Penders Jurgensen cost £45 million in the summer. Penders is seen as one of the best teenage goalkeepers. Sanchez, good last 6 weeks of last 6 games to qualify for Champions League, because of course the last 6 games count for the whole season, as we saw with Poch Peggers. But okay. Maresca didn't ask for a goalkeeper recruitment led by sporting directors who explored Maignan opportunity, but only at the right price. Pretty much the same thing, different wording, right? Anyways, Chelsea are not willing to meet AC Milan's price for Maignan. They will not pay a Club World Cup tax. Club maintain full trust in their current goalkeepers. Chelsea were willing to pay £12.7 million to sign Maignan. AC Milan wanted nearly double what Chelsea were willing to pay. It remains to be seen whether Chelsea revisit their interest in a French goalkeeper later in the window. Chelsea are considering taking Maignan next year on a free transfer. Maignan's interest had put Sanchez's future in doubt, but Chelsea believe he improved through the season and saved the club. Oh my God, this pisses me off. Saved the club at least 9 points, which helped the team qualify for UCL.
I feel like that's a stretch.
According to The Athletic, Chelsea saw a €20 million sale of Christian Pulisic to Milan in 2023 as part of their reasoning for a €15 million evaluation of Maignan. Pulisic also had a year remaining on his contract, but was 6 years younger and plays in a position which commands higher fees. However, Milan valued their goalkeeper at a higher fee and also have decided to walk. And Chelsea have decided to.
Sorry, I need to address that. No, go back. I need to address that. That's the stupidest fucking tweet I've ever seen. That's the stupidest fucking tweet I've ever seen. We're talking about a player who, for the 2 years prior to us trying to sell him, was average to shit. We were actively trying to push him out the football club.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the valuation was lower, because we were actively trying to push him out of the club.
It was his last season as well.
Yes, because that's what happens. When you try to push a player out the club, you lose some of the leverage because you're trying to get rid of them. When a club is trying to buy a player off of you, you have more leverage because they have the player you want.
I'm actually,
fucking stupid.
I am actually surprised another club hasn't really came sniffing, because I was worried about maybe another club looking at him. Like, even Man United, they need another keeper, I think. And he's a great leader as well from the back as well, what I hear as well. Like, he's a top keeper as well to get. So, I don't know. Like, it's definitely, I agree with Scott. It's not the same as Pulisic. Pulisic was a bench player who's bang average.
I do think there are similarities, but I'll come back to that in a minute.
There's not. I'll be honest, bro. There's not similarities. People want to use the Giroud thing again. Giroud was a third-year keeper. I think again 1 year left on his contract. Was 36, I think, when we tried to sell him. No one cared, bro. He was third choice. No one gave a shit.
But by the way, goalkeeper age.
Are you done the very thing?
I'll just finish this one tweet.
The age situation's not the same with a goalkeeper. He's still got like 6 years.
I understand that. Chelsea won't go back in for Maignan if Milan stick at the same price. It would have to drop according to Ben Jacobs. Now, real quick, in terms of the age thing, I understand. Maignan is going into his prime, you could say, right? As Pulisic was also going into his prime. We wanted to sell Pulisic. Maignan wanted to leave Milan. So at the end of the day, in one situation, the club wanted the player to leave. In the other situation, the player wants to leave the club with 1 year left on their situation. I think there are parallels. I know it's not the same, but there are some parallels to compare to. Now, my 2 cents on this whole situation. I believe, this is a theory, but I believe that this is a situation where the directors were being penny pinchers. Not because they didn't want to pay the 20 mil. I'm fine with them negotiating to get a discount from the 20 mil. That's fine. I think they were able to, because the tweet that gets me is this one, the Fabrizio tweet. Because I don't think Fabrizio was lying. I think Fabrizio came from a point where like he had a source that told him like there's truth in this. Chelsea and Milan are discussing the possible add-ons in the Maignan deal. You don't say that unless you're close to negotiating a deal. I think Milan decided to come down in price from the 20 mil, but Chelsea still weren't happy with it. And that's where I think, like, bro, if they came down to 18 or 17, fucking just buy the player. Fuck your 12 million evaluation or whatever. You got your discount. It was already a good price to begin with. Right? You got your discount. You can go out in the market, flex your your money and your negotiating skills and say, look, you thought 20 million was a good deal? Well, we got 3 million off. Some people would have been petty about it, be like, oh, it's only 3 million. You really negotiated. But at the end of the day, bro, we didn't succumb to 20 mil. Right? And we all agree, 20 mil for Maignan is a good price. 25 mil even, I would argue, is still a decent price for the player. But I also agree with the other argument, which is people saying, bro, just don't be a pushover and pay the price that clubs give you. You should be able to negotiate these prices. You can't just be that club that is just going to be like a United that'll pay whatever for a player, you know? So I get both sides of the argument. I think the reality is in the middle where Chelsea were penny pinching over a discounted price of the original price. And it wasn't discounted enough for them. And that's where I think it's ridiculous. Am I upset about it? Yeah, I am, obviously. Is it the end of the world for me? Not necessarily. There is the rest of the window. If I am to believe, which I don't think is true, that Sky Cava said Milan came to us to try to sell us Maignan, then that makes it a little bit more... That makes the whole spiel about they trust their goalkeepers look more realistic because they didn't go for the deal. But I do think our directors went and sought out the deal. They saw he had a year left on his contract. They tried to negotiate. They failed to negotiate because they always fucking do, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not that upset about it because we all didn't expect him to even get a goalkeeper. So we're back to zero anyways. It would have been nice to get him though. And I am upset about that in that sense.
I'd be pissed if another Premier League club gets him and he does really well.
I'm just going to the problem with that take much about the penny pinching and things like that is that I think for me, if you're going to do the penny pinching thing, that's fair enough, right? You know what I mean? But you have to remain consistent. Do you know what I mean, Marshall? You have to remain consistent in any and all negotiations that you do in that end. Because otherwise, bro, you're just going to be looked like as a twat. because you can't in one moment be telling me you're penny pinching, super negotiating for a Maignan deal, and then literally
you're
Marshall,
willing to pay that same exact
4
price
hours.
for Sanchez.
No. 4 hours later, Marshall. It took them 4 hours later in the same day to say we'll give you what you want for Bino Gittens, bro. 55 million.
We'll get into Bino Gittens.
Yeah.
I also don't believe entirely that, but yeah, go ahead.
No, they actually bid the price for him, Marshall.
Yeah.
They bid.
And they turned it down instantly. They turned it down.
Immediately, all caps, bro.
And the reason why they did, but because they didn't like the structure. The issue.
We'll get into Gittens. Let's try to focus on Maignan for now.
Right? That's the point. But the point of Maignan and Gittens is that they're combined. For me, the problem is you can't say I'm penny pitching in one hand and then doing that in the other hand.
I mean, it's like, look at Kelly as well. 20 minutes for him.
The reason why you can, or in their mind you can, and this is why I don't think we discussed that thing on your stream, why I don't think we're going back in for him, is this was only seen as like a Club World Cup opportunity. They saw this as an opportunity they could get someone before the Club World Cup, but they didn't want to pay, like, they didn't see it as a necessity, even though all the stupid PR that came out about, they love him, they think we need to upgrade all that shit. They didn't see it as a necessity, so they didn't want to, like, they see Gittens as someone they need to sign. They have to have him under all circumstances. That's why they're willing to pay the money, bro. That's why.
But my problem with that, even if we
Robert
say
Sanchez
that,
for another year, lads.
Because for me, my other problem for that is, by the way, is that you allegedly the guy that you probably our best keeper now is set to leave the club because essentially you probably wanted him, bro. No, but like, the reason why I'm talking about because it's about the goalkeeping position, Marshall.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to. That's the whole point I'm talking about him. If I'll come back to him if you want me to not speak about it. I'll try not to speak about it. But
I mean, to be fair though, this
I'll be honest. Marshall, I'm going to be honest. You have to talk about this goalkeeping situation as a totality because this is made all the worse by the Petrovic stuff. This is made worse.
In that case, hold on. Let me include it in.
You know, talking about Club World tax, did Real Madrid pay like an extra, like maybe not extra, but pay 10 million?
They paid 10 million.
Just to get. That's why I'm annoyed. Like,
someone time out just for 5 minutes.
I know it's difficult. Like, I wish we had that.
I hope you get relegated.
No, he's a mod, dude. He's a mod.
Time out, Jez. Time out, Jez. I don't care. You can do it.
What did Jez do to you?
Morning zombie. Time out, Jez.
He's a mod. He can. What do you?
You can.
No reason.
All right, let's bring this up, right? Okay, Petrovic, because I think you guys are right. We this inevitably can't be spoken about without speaking on Petrovic, and this is what pisses me off. Okay.
Bro, by the way, sorry, you should change the title of this segment because this is bullshit.
Wait, what?
Bullshit.
Well, that's what it says, right? So, and I agree with you. I think it is bullshit. So let's go ahead and read it. Okay. So after the Maignan deal collapse, maybe the same day, by the way, in the same day, this was all. What day was this? This was all Tuesday, right?
It was 2 hours between. So it was a 2 hour stint of the Maignan deal falls through. The PR shit comes out about how they trust all 4 keepers. 2 hours later, or 2.5 hours later, the tweet comes out.
Also, Maresca never asked for any keepers, and he's happy with everybody. Don't forget that part too.
Marshall, I need to send you a tweet that you can see that. Just for you, on the news and how it's. One second. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you now.
Go ahead and send it in private.
I'm telling you, bro. Not even 24 hours, bro. They didn't even let the tears dry, bro. The body was still warm.
So
RSM, forget 24 hours, bro. You didn't even have a 4 day work. It wasn't even 8 hours.
Don't say my directors, bro. I've wanted these directors out since they fumbled.
Don't you dare say my directors.
Don't you dare.
My directors.
You know what?
Bro, I've had enough. By the way, you could have. By the way, it wasn't even like an 8 hour shift, bro. You could have been. Some people in the world, because obviously there's some people would have been awake. Some people in the world would have gone on their lunch break, seen the news that the Maignan deal was falling through, and they trust all 4 keepers, gone back to work, finished work, and come back to tweets of, we now don't trust Petrovic is not part of the thing. In the same working day, you know.
That was me actually. You're spot on. That was my fucking working day.
All right, let me add this before I read any of the next part, okay?
Can you bring up
PYS came up with the 7 p.m. in the Athletic. Chelsea are happy with 4 keepers they have chose from the start in the Club World Cup, and then an hour and a half later, Chelsea have omitted Petrovic from the Club World Cup squad. Now, here's the thing. Let's read it. Let's read it before you crash out. Let's read it, because I also think, to an extent, this is journalism clickbait and just fucking toying with our emotions. But let's continue, right? So, to start things off, Petrovic did fantastic at Strasbourg and is doing very well in terms of numbers. So he's goalkeeping. He's a goalkeeper Chelsea still appreciate, according to Fabrizio. This was 4 days ago. Then the day, a day before the whole spiel, I think actually this was tweeted earlier before the whole Maignan deal fell through, is that Chelsea are expecting to sell one of Sanchez or Petrovic during the window. Then we have here the Bamba, right? Georgi Petrovic is expected to leave Chelsea. Sources add, though, that Petrovic previously sold his image rights to another party, a situation that would likely need to be resolved before any potential transfers. Then we have here...
By the way... Sorry, Marshall, go back. I don't know, like, people had talk shit on Ben Jacobs. Tom Bogut is arguably the most, or one of the most... reputable and on-point journalist when it comes to football, soccer in America. So this was almost certainly factually true.
We continue on, right? So, breaking. Georgi Petrovic asked to be left out of Chelsea's Club World Cup squad after making it clear he wants to focus on his future this summer. Georgi Petrovic wants to be a guaranteed starter, something Chelsea cannot offer. Relationships between Petrovic and Chelsea are set to remain good, and the club are understanding of his position. This was released obviously the day of the whole Maignan deal collapsing, hours after they said that they were happy with their four goalkeepers. Now, this is another thing that was said. Should Petrovic fail to secure a permanent move away from Chelsea, that makes him a guaranteed starter. Then the Serbian international will rejoin the squad for preseason's training July. Asked to be left out of this club or squad after making it clear he wants to focus on his... Petrovic wants guaranteed starter. Okay, hold on. Now...
So sorry. So you're going to tell a player who you've not included him in the Club World Cup squad. You've told him to leave. If he doesn't then leave, you're going to then tell him to rejoin pre-season training.
So, here's the thing.
Okay, cool.
I think what was actually said, I think what Petrovic probably said is that he wants to... I think what Petrovic actually wants is to be given a chance to show that he can be Chelsea's number one. And he probably said something about, I want to prove that I can get first team minutes. And they probably took the I and prove, or no, they probably took the prove out of that and just said, I want first team minutes. And that's what they're publishing out there. I do think this kid has said from the time he was at Strasbourg, came out and said the goal is to be Chelsea's number one. And I do think he can be Chelsea's number one. Notice that last season, he was also loaned before Maresca can even have a crack at using him in the team. It's happening again.
He got told, well, again, I don't know if this was... I don't know how true it was. We got told Maresca didn't see that he could improve him and didn't think he was good enough.
I think it's all fucking bullshit.
You know what it is, bro? Hold up. You know what it is? I guarantee you what happened. So he came back and he said, okay, you guys told me that I should go develop in Strasbourg. So I developed, and I feel like I won player of the season. I was one of the best keepers in all of Europe. Okay. So he said, all right, fair enough. So what you're going to do is now you're going to have to engage in a dogfight with Robert Sanchez. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, we can't guarantee you first team minutes. However, Maresca will see, whether he wants to use your Sanchez on a game by game basis, et cetera, et cetera. And in his mind, he's like, why? Like, I know I'm better than Sanchez. Right? I know he's a bum. I was one of the best keepers in Europe. So what is the point of fighting for my position? I'd rather just leave. That's exactly what happened. He came back, fulfilled everything that they told him that they needed of him to develop for. And then they told him, you're still going to have to fight for your position with one of the worst keepers in all of Europe.
Even when he's at the club before.
No. They're still Onana. That's the issue. They're still Onana. Like if there was no Onana, he'd be the worst keeper. No, Onana's actually worse. Unfortunately, Onana's actually worse. Like I would be, trust me, I would say he's the worst keeper, but I've seen Onana, bro. Yeah, he's the second worst. He's the second worst, but like following Onana. Yeah, 100%. But like that's my whole point though. Like this is what we did to Petrovic, and so obviously he's like, you know what? I got lied to, right? I did what I needed to do. You're not upholding your end of the bargain. You're still making me fight for a position that I already earned. So I'm leaving. That's exactly what happened, bro.
You also, Marshall, you also didn't. I don't know if you included the tweet maybe because I was my head's too fried with this whole situation. I literally reading out of it. The PR, by the way, of we didn't include him because of it being a continuation of last season.
Oh my God, yeah.
Have you seen the Club World Cup? Have you seen the Club World Cup squad?
Santos is in it, and that doesn't count.
Oh, Marshall, do you know how many people? Do you know how many? We have 28 people. We have 20 people in the whole team.
Okay, let's actually.
We have hold on. We have 4 keepers in that squad. One is Penders, who played 13 or something games on loan again last season, and Slonina, who was on loan at Barnsley last season and then got injured.
I know it's fucking
What
bullshit.
is the deal?
Before we get there, because I feel like we should kind of still stick onto the
I agree.
situation, right? Okay. So, I think for me, Marshall, like I come back to this and it's like, I don't think Magnan's value is going to change throughout the summer. No. My personal opinion, right? You agree with that, right? Because that's something I was arguing with like someone that, listen, I don't know what you're smoking, mate, but 20 million is probably going to be his price range throughout the whole summer, right? And they may even at an extra 5 M's, if other players in their team start getting sold, then they've got enough money now to recoup him, right? That may or may not happen, but regardless, it's still going to be £20 for him to pay, £20 million for him to pay. My thing is, there's 12.6 million apparently that have been bidding. That's fully cash, by the way, full cash, no add-ons included, nothing of the sort. Why can't you just add a little bit of realistic add-ons? What add-ons were you giving these brothers here that or turn them off? Because I feel like that's the problem, Marshall. The add-ons they were probably providing to AC Milan is probably where the issue came, in my personal opinion. For me, if I'm even the club, they're saying 20 million. If I add 2.5 million more, that's 15 M's. The other 5 million add-ons, you could do any chicanery that you want. But 15 plus 5 million would get you there. Would probably get you to cross the line there.
I do think that 18 million pounds for Maignan was on the table, and they walked away from it because it's still not 12 point, which is the part that annoys me, right? And I've said this, guys, and you guys can attest. I've said it. When it comes to the negotiations, this is the #1 reason I want these directors out.
I agree.
Cool. You have good talent ID. Cool. We've seen you scout players that now we look at and we're like, fuck, man, we could have gotten him. We were linked to Turkey. We were linked to Doué. We were linked to Barcola. We were linked to Duran. We were linked to Amaridion. The list goes on. We were linked to all these players. Who gives a fuck who we were linked to? The fact of the matter is we didn't get them.
The other thing, Marshall, that I wanted to add as well, I know CP's got his tirade that he's loading. We'll let him speak. But like, but like the other thing for me, I look at with this deal is that, Sanchez, we're having to sell because of the situation that we've got ourselves right now. And separate even Maignan, we're having to sell Petrovic because the man that we thought maintaining his value, playing games.
Here we go.
You know what I mean? What's the market? What's the market?
Bro,
you know
clearly you don't understand that he has saved us 9 points. That if we didn't save those 9 points, bro, we don't get into UCL football.
I'm talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, we don't get into UCL football without those 9 points he saved us, bro. So what do you want?
Yeah, and also, and Marshall, this is why, by the way, this is something I was talking about.
What is wrong with this guy, man?
Me and you were discussing this earlier, Marshall. Remember when I was telling you about how clubs now more than ever look at data, right, when it comes to Mr. Sanchez, yeah, and him, data-wise, bro, yes, he's got that little nice point, 9 points he saved us for the ECL, but if you look at goalkeeping stats, oh my Lord, it's actually bad, Marshall. I actually checked on my channel, like Scott, like his actual statistics. I couldn't believe it was that bad, Marshall. Like when you actually look at him, it's like, you know what I mean? It's bad. It is really bad, bro. And that's not even including the errors leading to goal. Like, that's his long shot percentage.
Oh, yeah.
That's horrible. Ahmed, speaking of errors leading to goal, I cannot wait when he makes his first mistake, and it's a when, not if, it's a when it happens, because it's a certainty. When he makes his first mistake of the season next season, I can't wait to see how these...
It'll take less than 5 games, I'm telling you right now.
Say again?
I'll give it 3.
It'll take less than 5 games.
Oh, bro, I think it happens depending on who we're playing. I think it could happen within the first 3 to 5
Chat,
games.
place your bets. How many games until Sanchez makes an error?
I can't wait. until.
What do you mean, how many games, bro? Club World Cup. I'm telling you, man. What, you guys are talking about next season, bro. Club World Cup. What are we talking about, man?
Cup, like I said, I need a Modesty hat trick and a Sanchez mistake on this man's head top. I need
I'm telling you, bro. No, I can't wait until we have a. I'm telling you, we're gonna have an all-timer 5-4 win against Tunisia because he's gonna kick the ball into the back of our net 4 times, bro. I'm here for it.
Bro, like Man City, Brighton.
I cannot wait for the Flamengo fans, bro. He's gonna shit his pants for those Flamengo fans, bro. Those Flamengo fans, bro. He's gonna shit his pants and concede a goal because he doesn't know what's going on. Like, bro, he's so cooked. And I can't wait for these dick riders, these people who want to dick ride these sports and defend everything they do. Defend it when he makes another mistake, and it will be a win, like I said, because it's in certainty.
Scott, he even got dropped at one point. I'm pretty sure, like for Jurgen. It didn't really work out, obviously, but I'm pretty sure he got dropped.
No, he got dropped. No, he got rotated to clear his head or something. He needed to clear his head. It didn't work because he made a mistake literally within like 3 games of coming back.
Yeah, he did actually something like that. 3 to 4.
Wait, bro.
You know what? You saying that actually pissed me the fuck off because guess who dropped him the first time and kept him on the bench?
Poch.
No, but like what player? The same player that wants starting minutes.
Oh, you mean Petrovic? You mean when? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he can't be a guaranteed starter, even though he already earned a starting position over him in the past.
Yeah, bro. So this whole thing is fucked, bro. Like, this whole situation is fucked. How do you come out of last season and look at the goalkeeper situation and think, yeah, this is fine? Like, our goalkeeping options are Sanchez. I shouldn't need to say more. Jorgensen, who was pretty mediocre last season, and then 1 19-year-old who played all of 13 games or something for Ghent, and a guy who was on loan at Barnsley last season. That's our current goalkeeper options.
But one of the things
crazy?
too...
You know what's crazy also, Marshall? Yeah. Yesterday, we got linked with someone that's the ex-Man City goalkeeper. I don't know if you saw that.
Fuck off!
I need to take
Now you started this right. Fuck this fetish with fucking Man City. I fucking hate this fucking prick. I don't care we got Delap. I don't give a fuck. Stop this fetish of 2021 fucking Man City. Fucking fuck these pricks. Fuck this direction.
Out of all the things to be mad about, like the City products is crazy.
When I see these bullshit comparisons of we give Giroud away for 1 million. Yeah, he was fucking 35.
But like legitimately though, like why crash out? Wait, why crash out about the only part of the model that has an above 50% hit rate?
No, I'm crashing it in general.
I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Like you're crashing out about maybe the only thing that we've been doing successfully.
No, I'm crashing out.
I'm out of here, man.
Let me crash out. Ahmed said I had a crash out loading for this entire goalkeeper situation. It's because transfers involved.
Like you can hate me, but it's like.
Anyways, back to my fucking tirade. How the Giroud went for 1 million when he was 35. Maignan is 29, going into his prime as a fucking goalkeeper. What are we on? This man is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and we can't even. Who gives a fuck if we came to fucking Milan? It's 25 million. 25 fucking million. We shipped that fucking out to Kellerman. And you're telling me now we're penny pinching for this bullshit? Are you on crack cocaine? How do we fuck up an opportunity? How do we fuck up 25 million like we're negotiating a fucking Caicedo all over again? How do they make it sound like we're going for Caicedo all over again, but it's 25 million fucking British pounds?
I think Pendas costs like 17 million.
This is how, bro. This is how, man.
And then the one person who you thought, if we didn't have Petrovic, guess who these fuckers would be going for? Fucking Petrovic. But for some reason, this Ben Roberts fucking sucker and his little lady friend named fucking Robert Sanchez, this fucking weird ecstasy incest relationship. I don't give a fuck I don't know if it's the bald person union or some shit, and I can say this, my dad's bald. I don't give a fuck what the fuck is going on.
My dad's bald is killing me, man.
Everyone gone. How do we mess this up? 25, and then we get rid of Petrovic, and as Scott said, we're getting a Jorgensen who's decent at ball playing, but the fucking saving thing, I'm sorry, it's not that good. Sanchez, saving-wise, is decent, but his ball playing, fuck me. And if these guys are going with the whole thing about Sanchez giving him 9 points, then I can tell you how many points Mike Maignan would have saved us if we fucking got him into our club. Double that. 18 points. 18 points he would have saved us if Sanchez has saved me 9. And he has Champions League experience.
TP, tell him the stat, man. Tell him a real stat, man, about the errors leading to go for Maignan and the errors leading to go for
thank you.
Please.
4 errors in 4 years, and 2 of them were this season. I mean, last season or something. Slight drop off from last season. Sanchez has 5 in 1 season. This man has 4. So 1 each year if you want to average it out. And if we average Sanchez it out by 4-year span with this 5 errors this season, it's fucking 20. It's 20. It's 20. It's 20. How? How do we mess this up? Petrovic, what's the point? What's the point of Strasbourg? So we got one guy and Santos. We're all slightly joking about. If someone bids over 60 million, he's fucked off. And he's one of the best fucking midfielders coming out of, as a young kid out of Europe. So yeah, I heard that ball that got me. I don't care. I don't care about the fucking language. Fuck you. There you go.
Yeah, this is not a.
Anyways, besides that,
this is not a PG channel.
So and then Marshall, it's your fault. It's your fault. I'll tell you why it's your fault.
Here we go, man.
Why are you saying fuck me for?
I'm gonna say fuck you right now. This piece of work was doing this bullshit. Mike Penders.
What? Disrespectful.
The entire fucking year. Oh, guys, Mike Penders is the fucking answer. Yeah, he could have been the answer 5 years from now. If we had Mike Maignan, we could have had the transition from Czech to fucking Courtois. So guess what we're fucking doing? We're gonna have Sanchez for the next 5 years and hope to God Mike Penders turns into something. Us fucking this whole goalkeeper situation up is my entire hopes and dreams. Unless we get Mike Maignan later in the summer, fine. But if not, this destroys my hopes of us challenging for the league next season. I'm telling you right now. Yes.
By the way, the second
clearly, because we're getting Gittens.
The other people, one second, CP. I'm gonna add to your point. Yeah, Penders. Yeah, the way they are talking about Penders, bro. Yeah, if this guy just comes into the team and has just one bad game, yeah, when he starts, it's over for that brother, bro. I promise you, bro. He's actually got it worse than Esteval, by the way. He's got it worse than Esteval because the way they glaze Penders up, he's a young man. Bro, they are they're preparing to just shoot themselves in the foot with him. I swear to God, Marshall.
By the way,
what the fuck are you saying fuck me for? All I've been saying this whole time is like I look forward to seeing Penders. I think he has good potential.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare I believe that there's potential?
Wait, let me talk to Calm. Hey, Calm,
What did you say about
we're
me?
still linked with Mike Penders. We're planning to get him, and we were linked with Ekitike as getting him as well. So that's why I said we could probably compete for the league.
Can we have an honest correction of this statement here? Because I don't want to answer it because
I've never been. I've
never been. What are you on about?
Here's my answer. How about that? Here's my answer.
We all, as panelists, have never backed this fucking bullshit. So we believe that our squad is good enough for top 4 just because you're with your.
I've always said, Calm. The difference between me and you is that I know what these guys are like, so I've accepted the way we work. That's the difference. People just don't want to accept the way the club works.
Say it again, bro.
That's all it
Say
is.
it again, bro.
You know what I mean?
Also, Tom, you went missing, by the way.
Marshall knows what I always say. What's the 2 words I always say, Marshall? Expectations and reality. You know what I mean?
No, because the thing is, Ahmed is 100% correct.
I know what reality is.
But there are people think that if you campaign, if you cry enough, they'll change the model. I'm being dead serious. It won't happen, bro. You can complain, you can cry. This is the reality. Until they leave, we're here, bro.
I told people the game was already over when these brothers protested. Burley made those comments, and then 2 days later, you got a Brazilian on your face. You know what I mean?
Wait, did we actually sign that Brazilian? Because I'm literally.
They signed that Brazilian, bro.
Are we sure? I know we signed Quenda, but I haven't seen any reports on him. It's like a fucking.
I can't remember, but in a way, 2 days later, they said they're about to sign a Brazilian for 9 million.
Let me slapped
their cock in your face, boys, and told you what they were about. It's really as simple as that.
Yeah, pause.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, calm. You're talking to me. Yeah, CP. Yeah. Hey, hi, little prick. So we were there 4 days ago, linked with Mike Penders and Ekitike, right? So when we could actually get players that would help us challenge for the league. And if you're still glazing Arsenal and guzzling their cum, you can do that anytime you want. You can join a fucking Arsenal channel. Okay?
Hey, yo.
Because we haven't seen them win fucking jack shit with this challenging for the past 3 seasons. And they're linked with fucking Benjamin Sesko, which is Delap, but 60 million more. So tell me about that, Calm. Tell me about that. They're linked with fucking Sesko. Okay, they fucking got Kepa as a backup. That's what their signings have been. So you can relax, you little prick.
So I didn't say a damn word throughout that whole entire segment, but the panel essentially said what I said, which is none of us are pro Clear Lake. Also, none of us are anti Clear Lake. Some of us might be anti Clear Lake now, but for the most part, none of us are anti Clear Lake or pro Clear Lake. Some of you guys are too smooth-brained to believe that you can potentially have a in-between and just have honest opinions about the pros and the cons of the ownership. Some of you only hear the negative, and the moment I bring up any positive, oh, you're pro Clear Lake, oh, you defend Clear Lake, oh, this and that. It's not defending, it's just stating the facts. I am not staunchly defending what Clear Lake said. All I ever did in terms of just this topic alone, all I ever did in terms of the Sanchez thing was try to give the benefit of the doubt and try to make any sense of why the fuck are you playing Mr. 9 points every fucking game when he's clearly costing you more than that in the league. And my only analysis and my only rationale could be, okay, maybe it's because you want to sell him, which, by the way, is still not off the table. It's still not off the table. There are links to West Ham and a potential Kudus deal. There are still, rumors coming out that, yeah, they could be sold potentially. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't think so. I think it's a lot less likely now considering what's going on with Petrovic. And if we do go back for Maignan later in the window, then maybe the possibility is still there. Maybe. I doubt both those things, though. But that was the only rationale I had for why it's possible he's even playing. And even before that, I said, guys, it's not Maresca. I think it's the board want Sanchez to play. Why do they want Sanchez to play? Because they want to sell him. What other reason would they want him to play? I don't understand why they would want him to play. I think Sanchez getting benched for Petrovic under Pochettino was one of the reasons why Pochettino ended up getting sacked. And I think Maresca played ball because he doesn't want to get sacked, because what does him getting sacked do? Only extends the problem. We then have to rely on these directors to once again find another guy out there who may or may not fail. We finally got a guy that got us the minimum standards that were under Roman. Let's try to continue to build off of this guy. These guys aren't helping the situation because they're not helping him as of now. Mind you, it is only 12 days into the window. I understand there is another window opening up. Things could happen. I don't know. I'm not very optimistic about it right now, but my opinion could change on that. But at no point was I pro Clear Lake, and at no point was I anti Clear Lake. The whole time I've just been, let's see what Clear Lake do. That's it.
The problem is, Marshall, this year, not with you, sorry, Marshall, but the whole problem with this Clear Lake and Clear Lake out thing is, guys, these guys are not leaving. So for me,
they're not leaving either.
Being in and out, you can be out, that's fine, but we just need to. These guys ain't leaving.
I've said this
Don't kill that dream, Ahmed. Don't kill that dream. They think you can done. Don't kill it.
It's a lot. Marshall knows I've said this before. I've told people.
See, bro, Marshall wants to try to tell us that, he's anti Clear Lake, bro. But listen, this is every time the brown envelope hits, bro. This is Marshall, bro. Marshall, every time the envelope hits, bro. I know the game. I know the game, bro.
But like obviously, this game back a little bit serious. Shout out to our son. But the whole point,
if I speak, I am in big trouble.
Guys, we all know these guys are here to stay. So the only thing I can do is just accept the reality of what I'm getting, and hoping the guys that we're getting, got the talent to get to that place that I'm hoping that we can get in the next year or two. That's why I know Marshall knows this, and Marshall, because I said this yesterday. Marshall, do you remember what I told you 2 months ago about who we're gonna sign in the window? Do you remember what I told you? I told you it was gonna be Delap, Gittens, remember? And was Mark Gay. Do you remember I told you that, right?
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and right now we almost.
So far, it's the lap. It looks like.
And Gittens on the way. Gittens probably
you
on the way.
Getting Gittens this season? I don't feel it. I don't feel it.
And so,
we're getting Gittens, Chris. We'll get
to Gittens. Yeah.
And I said Hato.
Great potential.
And Hato as well. I forgot about that one as well. I said 4. I said those 4. So that's the fact that I can predict these guys like barbecue chicken.
Didn't you say forget Ganacho or am I wrong?
No, I said Gittens. It's not gonna.
No. Before. I'm not talking about.
It was a bit of banter. That was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What,
but like essentially, the point I'm making is that I know what these guys are going for. I know the way these guys act. So for me, there's no point in me getting angry over what I know is gonna happen.
But yeah, that's the way I look at it. It's at the same time like you guys have heard me say it. And if you haven't heard me say it, call me out on it right now. But all I've always ever said, I'll be there to criticize when there's criticism to be due, and I'll praise when there's something to be praised about. I've always said, I'm making sure the praise is just as loud as the criticism. And I've been here and I've criticized the directors. I've done it. You guys can't deny it. I've done it.
And also, Marshall, I want to add one more thing here. One thing I've said, at least on my stream, everyone's got their own opinion. They've told me end of June, the mass majority of the incomers are going to be there. So I'm not going to hold them.
Oh my God, I'm so glad. Oh, you sure?
Wait,
okay.
Wait, Marshall. Wait. Right now, it's only the 30th of June. So listen, I've got another 17 days to see what's going on in terms of the incomings, and then I'm gonna give my points. Then I'm giving them the 17 days more. I'm just gonna wait 17 days to see what's gonna happen.
No, oh, it's fine. It's fine if you want, so I don't care.
That's the thing, though, right? Like that's the part that pisses me off. Is now I'm at a point where like you just keep lying now. You keep lying. The PR, the briefs, all this stuff. It's becoming more and more evident that one, you guys don't know how to fucking keep quiet about your deals. So you cause an uproar in the fan base, only worsening your cause and only worsening your favoritism towards you, right? Like this is a point where like you want the fan base to back you. Like you ended up getting top 4 and you ended up getting a trophy out of this season when the fan base were mostly against the directors, which is why we had, well, part of the reason why we had protests, right? Why not take that opportunity to build favoritism and to actually get them to like you more? What do? You come out with this very public story about Maignan and then it collapses. And you told me in January, this is the part that pisses me the fuck off. You told the fan base in January, hey, listen, part of the reason, and I was fighting with Scott with this, part of the reason that we didn't fucking do deals is because we're working on deals in the summer. We're working to get the foundations laid, and we're gonna be early to the window. We're gonna make sure we're getting as many deals done as possible before Club World Cup. Okay, you got Isugo done, you got Sarr done, you got the lap done.
So yeah, Master, I'll take my written apology, thanks.
Yeah, like
you ain't shit, bro. You ain't shit.
Like,
wow. You ain't shit because you're twat, bro.
No. I'll take my apologies, thanks for that January window being shit.
Hey, no, we're tit for tat. We're tit for tat right now because I predicted top 4 and you predicted this downfall. But it's like me and Scott went back and forth because they came out and they gave us these briefings saying like we're laying the foundation, we're getting deals done. What deals have you gotten done? Maignan, you could have been doing this whole time. And this is what annoys me. What the fuck do you do from January until summer? Because it seems like you've been laying back, chilling, watching games at the bridge, watching games at the city field and all this shit, going to the away games, all this and that, watching on TV and all this and that. And then when it comes to the window opening, you're like, oh fuck, we have a job to do. Let's start working. Let's start getting these deals done. These deals should have been done. We should have been moving like Man City. I'm not saying pay the prices that they're paying, but at least get the deals done. They've got 4 deals done since the window opened. Why can't we be that way?
Sorry, Mark,
what have you done since January?
Yeah, look,
you have one job. Well, you have multiple jobs, but this is a big part of your job.
Yeah, but they can't do their job, bro. Like we've had this conversation a million times.
Marshall, but this is like back to like, you know, these guys are known entities, Marshall. You know the way they play the game. You know who they are. It's like me asking, a guy that's got erectile dysfunction to do a job.
You couldn't have used a better fucking example, dude.
Wait a minute. Why are you the one asking the guy in this scenario? Why, brother? How's that like? What?
I said to you, listen, I gave the example of this guy with erectile dysfunction trying to have sex with his wife. That's it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but why are you asking him to do that? Like, no.
My man needs the gas station rhino pills, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I got my boy Panko.
He need the blue chew, bro. He need the gold honey.
The blue chew. I'm so sorry, guys. It is literally that's the first thing that literally legit.
He need the honey pack, bro. He need the honey pack.
But essentially, like, essentially, that's the point I'm trying to make, right? Which is that essentially, this is the type of problem. This is the type of guys that we have there, bro. We have guys that cannot finish a job, bro. You know what I mean? All foreplay, no action. That's it, man. It's too easy, bro. You know what I mean? Like the sex just write themselves of these guys.
Analogy. I read that one.
See, that one works.
The sex just write themselves of these guys, man. That's all it is. So listen, I just think for me, guys. Listen, no one get. Listen, I know everyone here is gonna, give the
honey pack. I told you, bro.
Listen,
see, that's crazy. Marshall knows, bro.
Listen, at the end of the day, guys, you know what I'm gonna say? Listen, I'm gonna wait and see. I said June 30th because they said June 30th. Yeah, we're gonna be getting the incomings. I'm not even looking for outgoings, by the way. I'm just looking for the incomings by June 30th. And if I don't see anything done by then, we know what you are. That's it, man.
Wait, is that when the window closes? I thought it already was closing. Oh, okay.
But hold up. But you know what it is though? This is the thing, by the way, is like I said before, like these guys are really good scouts, but they're awful sporting directors. You can't trust them to make the big decisions, and you can't trust them to close the deal.
Talking about closing the deal and stuff, like, do you reckon, didn't we, like, lower it down to 17, 18 mil for Mike Maignan?
No, we got to, I think the lowest we got, the highest we got to is 15.
I think they did, Chris.
No, but didn't they lower
doors? I think they did.
Yeah.
No, they didn't lower it to 15. They literally have said the same price.
No, not 15. I'm talking about AC Milan lowered to 18.
No, AC Milan have held the same price the whole window. Bro, this is why I've said
no. Actually, you know what's interesting though? You know what's even interesting though? Like the beginning, they said that they wanted 25 million pounds.
They did.
And then they would be willing to go down to 20 million pounds, and we couldn't even meet them there.
Okay. No, but like, bro, it's not surprising. RSM, we've had this conversation before, and I'll say it again on here. It's not surprising that every single club that we've tried to deal with, for all three players we've tried to sign, in Ekitike, in Gittens, and in Milan, all three of them have got to a point where they just held their ground and said, "Pay us."
I'm telling you, because they're not respected. They're clowns, bro.
They're not going low in 20. Even after this, like, Club World Cup.
That's the thing. Our directors have now made a reputation of themselves of being shit negotiators. Big Daddy Igbali has to come into the negotiation room.
That's a fire up the private jet. That's a fire up the private jet. Remember?
And you know what makes it worse, Marshall? And you know what's making it worse, Marshall? Yeah, is that.
Is this enough criticism, by the way, Calm?
Wait.
Just FYI.
Yeah,
Just want to know.
He
doesn't hear this part.
And you know what makes it worse, Marshall? 1 minute, we act like hard men. We got the 6-pack. We got the full gear on. The next minute, we're acting like an obese fat guy. Yeah. But just eating everything.
All of a sudden, we're out of breath.
By the way, I wanted to go back quickly to a point on the Trafford thing. Fun fact for everyone: there was a report that came out today that apparently Newcastle are thinking of backing out because they don't want to pay the valuation. They don't want to pay the 30 mil for Trafford. The Trafford thing could be on, you know.
I told you Trafford's gonna happen.
I swear, like, we don't get Mike Maignan.
More cash and money.
I want Mike Maignan over him, but
I might actually make a bet for the first time in my life. I might be making a bet for the first time.
I'm taking that bet.
Trafford to Chelsea. I don't know what the odds are. I might make a good amount of money, bro.
You're sounding like, bro. You're sounding like.
Heard that you came running back to chat, bro.
Bro, you're sounding like Fabrizio, bro. I'm giving it a 35%. Shut your ass up, bro.
I'm giving it 100%. I'm giving it 100%. Not even 99%. 100%.
Tell me the percentage.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'm not believing the Trafford stuff until I see more on it, bro. Because we get linked to everybody at this. That always happens. I'm not crashing out until I see something more. More confirmed, bro.
Guy over my
the window opens on Monday. Just for people to know. I want people to understand. The window opens again on Monday, and that's our first game of the season, of preseason 2.
Oh, so it doesn't.
No, it's the same with the Club World Cup. The same day the Club World Cup starts.
Yeah. So
that's when
listen, I just want you to know the window's open already on Monday. So we will see what go on with this club. We will see what happens. 2 weeks until that, and 2 weeks, by the way, until the end of was it called? Yeah, only one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks until the end of June. So listen, lock in, lads. Lock in,
Wait,
lads. I mean,
by Monday, you don't mean the 16th, right? You mean the 23rd?
No, Steve, the window opens again.
Really? We're not even going to be done with group stages by then.
Yeah, no.
So I'm letting you know, bro.
Group stages, brother. We haven't.
Group stages then.
No, that's our first group stage.
That's what I'm saying, Marshall.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I'm saying, Marshall. They've got a good time now. You get the guys here for the lookout. If they truly believe that, if they've been doing the deals in June, we're gonna see.
We will
what
see.
The game
I
is
have
about.
my doubts because the
we'll
way
be back
they're
on that
moving,
phone call if we
Bro.
see what's his name, Sanchez make a mistake. We'll be back on that phone call.
The way
I need it,
they're
bro. I need
moving-
it.
Yeah, we need
the way
it.
they're moving. Because
Something,
look,
please.
to give the benefit of the doubt again, like Quiz Pursuit is not wrong, and he did say he can't believe he's even defending these clowns, and I agree. They did get Quenda and Isugo done. Isugo is the only one I count. Kenda is coming in next year.
What? Sorry. Hold on. What does any of this mean?
Wait, what was your question?
What does any of this mean? Like, this means anything?
What it means is the whole thing that I'm pissed off about is the lies about you were getting deals done before the club.
No. In January, in January they were like, we didn't make any signs, but we got important groundwork done. We're looking forward to get everything. A lot of the big signings done before Club World Cup. They're cap, bro.
Two things. I don't know whether this is defending the lack of stuff done in January, which neither of these deals I think were done in January. I think both of them were done. Oh no, I think Isugo was done a few days before the window ended, but it was a deal for the summer because he couldn't play for us because he'd already played for 2 clubs. I'm not counting that, just funnily enough. Secondly, if this is defending them being able to find good talent, like
this was the tweet.
This comment means nothing. No disrespect. This comment means nothing because. Why are we acting like we didn't sign Leslie like 2 years ago and now we're going to flip him? Despite, literally, I'm not getting excited over Isugo. Why am I acting like we didn't sign Mudryk 3 years ago? And yes, that's a bit different, but we saw nothing of anything.
What are you hearing, Calm? You crazy, bro.
I mean, it could happen with Petrovic as well. We bought
Bro, saying they did something. Saying they did something, and the grand total of what they did was the Isugo thing, which, brother. Like, if we're saying they did something by signing a guy 6 months early who's coming in to be 5th choice midfielder, like, you just want to defend at this point. And the Quenda thing, bro, I care about what they're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm getting at, right? Like, because we knew in January they were supposed to. We wanted them to make signings that helped the team now because we were looking, scarce. We were looking thin in the midfield, so on and so forth, right? And this is the tweet that I'm upset about, right? Kieran Gill coming out saying Chelsea laid the groundwork for other potential buys versus via conversations held in January, including Alejandro Garnacho and Jamie Gittens. Okay, well, where the fuck is Gittens?
I don't know.
This is what I'm talking about. Where the fuck is Gittens? If Gittens was included in those conversations, you laid the groundwork for Gittens, then why the fuck is Gittens in Dortmund right now and not at Chelsea?
Because they don't want to pay the money, bro. Because they're getting fleeced as they usually do with every
That's the thing, though, Scott. Like, you could potentially get all that stupid negotiating done in February, in March, in April, in May, so you don't have to fucking rush the fucking negotiations when it's 2 weeks before Club World Cup starts, and they know you're under pressure.
Brother,
they know you're in a rush.
Sorry, brother. What you don't understand is it was way more important to sign a guy for 2 years' time. It was way more important to go out and sign a guy to be 5th choice midfielder next season, even though you had someone to do that job already. It was way more important to do that groundwork.
Isugo is really the only one I'll give him credit for, but that's not enough.
Bro, this Isugo thing's another one, bro. If people hyping this dude up, there's another one. He's another Leslie.
As a backup choice, he's not a bad option. That's all I'm going to say on that.
We just had a backup that we're flipping.
We're going to need more. It's not. I understand the only backup isn't going to be enough.
Marshall. The problem is the fact we're not. Isugo is this, like, all these players are nothing new. Like, you can't get me hyped about Isugo when we've already bought.
I'm not trying to get you hyped. I'm just saying.
No, but like, I find it weird that people can get hyped about these guys when we just signed Leslie. Nothing. We just lied to Piers, by the way. I don't know if that's going to get brought up. He's probably getting flipped.
We did. He's probably getting flipped.
Nothing. We bought in guys like Fofana, flip, nothing. You can't get hyped about any of these guys anymore unless they're a world-class talent, because these guys that we have shown, whether it's sporting directors or owners, have shown that they are not willing to wait for these guys to develop, and they are more than happy to just flip guys on a constant basis because it's just like stocks, and it's just like a stock market. Like, we've signed like 16 midfielders. Yeah. Didn't we just literally like a month ago get linked to some dude from Lorient, another midfielder? Why am I getting hyped? Why do I care?
The problem, yeah, exactly. We don't know. No one knows, but the problem is, Marshall, it's so hard to know, yeah, unless you bought for like more than 60, 70, 80 million pounds, yeah. We don't know if you're gonna be a main option or if you're just a plan B.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? And that's I think really the other problem for me also becomes, yeah, we can't keep on doing this player model, and when guys actually start reaching fruition, we're not trying to at least try to find space for them in the team. If there's no space for them in the team, I understand, but do we need to necessarily buy an Isugo when we had Leslie in the team?
But I think the intention with Leslie was to sell him from the get-go. I could have told you.
But that's the point I'm trying to make, right?
Yeah, okay. How do you know Isugo's not the same?
Mostly because they got the deal. He was one of the deals that we got done early. Actually, the only deal that we got done early. And
the only reason that
age profile.
Hold on. He's the same age as Leslie was when we bought him? Or a year younger?
I don't know if he was.
Oh, you'll probably know this because you were watching at the time.
If you bought Leslie when he was 19, didn't he?
But I also, part of my theory, Sky, is also because he is a similar profile at Moises.
Say again?
He's similar in play style and profile as Moises. That's probably why I'm inclined to think
that Leslie wasn't
like a direct back. Not tit for tat. I don't think Leslie is as mobile as Moises is.
No.
But Leslie's a replacement. But Leslie could be a pseudo backup.
Leslie could do a job like that, and Leslie probably is more physical.
The issue is people need to realize, by the way, that like the job that Caicedo does, we can't compare, bro. Like it's a bit of a unicorn position in the sense that like there are not many people that could do a lone six to a high level in today's game, which is why he went for so much. And you look at Liverpool, they're happy with Gravenberch. Guess what? They're still looking for another DM.
Yeah, but they also don't play with a lone six either. They play a double pivot with like him next to someone, so they can.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is Caicedo can do that, and the stuff that he does, like his.
100%,
it's like we can't. If the bar is Caicedo, then everybody else is gonna fall short. So we just need to like kind of take them on their own merits.
100%, and I agree. I say what they're doing is they're getting like the equivalent of like Caicedo across two players. Like they have the Gravenberch doing one side, and they get like a defensive midfielder doing the other side. So like you get two players to do the job of one guy. Where he's so good, we've got him doing that job, and I agree. So this you can say, oh, Isugo's the same profile, brother. He's nowhere near in it. He's not the same stratosphere of player. Like not anywhere close.
No, they're not the same player.
Cool. So he might be the same profile, bro. I don't give a shit.
I could be wrong, by
in terms of ability, he's nowhere near.
No,
so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, but if he develops,
I'm not like there's no guarantee that he's not sold in 2 years for the same thing, and then we go get someone else. Like we literally had a conversation earlier. We signed Slonina. All of this hype. Oh, Real Madrid wanted him. I think it was Real Madrid. Was it Bayern or someone else were interested in him? He's meant to be incredible. Literally, like a year later, we went and bought Penders. Oh, he's incredible. Real Madrid are interested in him. What happens when the next 19-year-old keeper comes?
Yeah, because that's a good point. Slonina was one of those. That's what I mean. Like this window is going to be so telling because I feel like the goalpost seems to shift every window. Because very much like what you were saying, Scott, like we were all hyped up on Slonina, and all of a sudden, we're not talking about him. No, we don't really give a fuck about him. It's just
because we got the shiny new toy, bro.
Same thing with Cassidy. Cassidy was a hype.
Not even Cassidy, bro. Anyone care about Anselmino anymore? Now we got Sarr.
Yeah.
What happened to also the other young lad? That is Samuel Smith. They signed him to a new contract.
Oh yeah, the one that we got on a 6-year deal, and apparently they really like him. Apparently the club and Maresca really like him. He proceeded to play in or feature in I think 0 squads across last season. This is why, unless you are the very top, unless you're Rodrigo, unless you're Isaac, Osimhen, one of these guys, I don't care, bro. These signings that we're making don't move me in any way. Because in 2 years' time, half of them won't be here. So why am I going to get hyped and why am I going to get attached to these guys? They're going to do anything here. Because if you're not the best of the best, and we don't buy the best of the best, so unless you don't have a Palmer level season where you just come out of nowhere, you're not going to be here in 2 years' time. So there's literally no point me getting attached to you.
Yeah. And so far, listen. And for those of you who are maybe quiet in chat because, whatever, you want to defend the owners or whatever the fuck. Listen, at the end of the day, I do understand the window isn't over. They could do things to change our mind. But as of right now, based on what they told us in January about laying the groundwork, getting deals done soon, and getting deals done before Club World Cup, I am not impressed. I am not impressed whatsoever. Things could change. I think most of us doubt things are going to change, but they could surprise us. Who knows? I won't say that can't happen, that it's impossible. It is possible they could surprise us, but I do have my doubts. Now, on that topic too, since we're talking about Club World Cup and the players that are coming in and all this and that, we should also bring up the squad itself, which also was released today of all this Petrovic, Maignan thing happening, and it's something we should bring up, which also has people pretty upset. Now, I'm not as upset about this because now that the journalists decided to release more context to it, it makes a little bit more sense as to why some of these things are happening. Some of these things are happening, not all of them. But let's start with this first tweet here. So, Georgie Petrovic not included in Chelsea Club World Cup squad, according to Matt Law. He also said, Chelsea have decided to not take any players who spent the season out on loan other than Andre Santos, as they see the Club World Cup as a continuation of 24-25 season. Utter bullshit.
Apart from Penders and apart from Asugo and apart from Slonino and apart from probably someone else that I'm forgetting. But yeah, carry on.
Mamadou Sarr, who literally...
No, he wasn't on loan. We hadn't signed him.
Oh, okay.
We signed him this week.
The logic still isn't logicking, though.
No, I know, but just
yeah, it's so stupid. We continue on here. Oh, this is what pissed me off, dude. This is like the cherry on top.
This pisses me off, but for not the same reasons as everyone else, I think.
This is the cherry on top for me. Christopher Nkunku will be included in Enzo Maresca's Club World Cup squad, despite the future of the club appearing to be unclear.
Please stop!
Marshall, can I ask you a question?
My cam.
Go for it.
My cam in the team.
Okay, if he wasn't included, who plays the 10 in our first game against LAFC?
We're doing left wing shit. You're nasty for that, yeah, man.
That's why people should be pissed, because he has to play against LAFC.
Bro, clunky, man. We got in clunky, bro.
Palmer just come back from international duty. I doubt, unless the club is genuinely stupid and they want to run these players into the ground.
No, Maresca won't. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if the club wants. Maresca doesn't. He won't.
Cool, yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So Palmer's probably not playing for the LAFC game, and Nkunku has to play. There's no other 10s in the team.
Yep, because we told Pies to kick rocks, so literally.
Yes.
And also, I just wanted to say, I'm running.
So if you're pissed, be pissed at the fact we've got no fucking depth in that position again.
Yep, it's about to be what? Jackson left wing, Tyreek on the right, Delap up front, and Nkunku in the 10.
What the fuck is that?
I'm telling you, that's what it's gonna be, bro. It's gonna be Nkunku in the 10, Jackson on the left, Delap up top, and Tyreek George on the right. But you know what? Though? Hold up. At the very least, Delap is going to be used to getting 0 service. So so he's gonna know how to work around that.
Wait. He might wait. He'll have
at the very least, he'll know how to work around it, bro.
On Enzo.
Yeah, fucking shit.
All right, let's continue on. Unfortunately, latest Chelsea leave Georgie Petrovic, Matisse Omogu, Raheem Sterling, João Felix, Axel Disasi,
Club
World Cup squad.
Bro, I'm actually low key, bro. You know what? I know we have no 10, but I'm low-key happy we didn't take Joao Felix because I saw Pies and other people be like, Joao Felix, can you give me one more day? How about you give it up, bro?
Yes.
How about you give it up, bro?
Bro, I do apologize. I need to correct something I said earlier. I forgot we did do some this. We did do something in January. We signed Mathis Mugu for 17 million pounds.
For Strasbourg, though. That's for Strasbourg, though.
We still signed
all of
we spent Chelsea money on a Strasbourg player. For Strasbourg.
And they hate
for reasons.
For the important groundwork that was laid for summer signings. You know, that's what we were told in the winter window, bro.
Lots of questions. Oh, here we go. So lots of questions on Kendrick Paez because he was left out of the squad. He will be joining Strasbourg on loan, whereas the other 3 incoming players, Delap, Sarr, and Sugu, have been signed to go straight to CFC first team squad.
Hang on a second. Carry on.
All right, I'm gonna carry on.
Oh my god!
All right, this gives a little bit more context. So I'll explain why I'm not losing my head on Paez. Strasbourg's first preseason game last year was July 4th, and this year their first game of the season is a week earlier. So their first preseason game could be June 27th. Then camp would start even earlier. They shouldn't have told Paez so late and got young players' hopes up, but it actually makes sense for him not to go to Club World Cup and settle with Strasbourg early. I do agree with this, but
I do. Yes, I agree with that, but I agree with it in totality in terms of like the actual plan, as per usual with these sporting directors and these owners. The plan.
Neto played 120 minutes. He's not touching the pitch, bro.
I was about to say, by the way, he's not the only one. I went and had a look. So did Cucurella, bro. Cucurella is going to go.
Cucurella played 120.
Yeah, man. Cucurella, man.
To training and then playing
for a while, boys.
Bro, he actually might like. I hope he's got a hyperbaric chamber, bro. He actually might tear every bone in his or tear every muscle in his legs.
Hey, man, we might not be seeing him quite a few lads. You know what I mean?
And look at Ahmed smiling about that, bro. You're such a fraud, bro.
You are, bro.
Give me yellow. Yeah, give me yellow. Yeah, have a word with him, ref.
There's nothing to
hey, calma. You're moving very aggressive this game.
But yeah, with this thing, like what they did was right in terms of sending him to Strasbourg with this in mind. Don't fucking tell him he's going to be a part of the Club World Cup team. Then don't lie to an 18-year-old kid. Bro, it's not even like he was here a year and it's not like the Vega situation for me is, I think, fucked as well. I know some people agree, but there are reasons why I think it's fucked. It's not like with that, okay? With that, you can make excuses. You told an 18-year-old kid who just walked in the door, like you lied to him immediately. Imagine setting that bad a precedent, bro. You didn't even wait. You lied to him immediately.
I have questions about that, but let me just finish off these tweets real quick. So, Joao Felix's number, 14, will now be given to Dario Isugo, my guy, deserving of the 14. Anyway, Chelsea confirmed they're taking a 28-man squad to Club World Cup. Understands to the side players who were out on loan not included. No place for injured Wesley Fofana. Slonina, 0 appearances for Chelsea since joining 2022. Wow. Included as the 4th goalkeeper. Georgi Petrovic is likely to leave Chelsea after being left out of Club World Cup squad. Goalkeeper impressed at Strasbourg on loan and wants to play. Some interest from West Ham, but move to Europe is possible. Am told Juve tried to extend Renato Vega loan for Club World Cup. Couldn't agree terms with Chelsea, but Vega, another returning loan left out, probably needs to move this summer.
Bro, the thing with Vega is he's a bit of a shameless brother, bro. He pushed him his way out of the squad.
No, he did though.
Like,
yeah,
he would have gotten time.
Where I disagree is I think he wanted more minutes than he was getting, and also wanted to play centre back. The thing that pissed me off
but you know what about the centre back thing is Fofana got injured immediately after. Like he prematurely left.
Like, I still don't think he'd have got game time, bro. Like over Badiashile for some reason. The thing that annoys me about the Vega thing though is that reportedly they did the same thing to him that did Paez. They told him he was going to be a part of the squad. Like, why are you lying to these guys? Just tell them they're not going to be a part of the squad.
Renato Vega, according to Sarcasm City, is frustrated that he's been left out.
For me, do you know what the problem is, guys?
You kind of dug yourself a grave on that one, bro.
No, but he got told again, reportedly. So take a pinch. So he got told he was going to be part of the squad. That's why he's annoyed. That's why he's frustrated.
He was going to get minutes. He was told.
No, he was going to be part of the squad. in terms of the CWC squad. I'm talking about the actual Club World Cup squad. He got told he was going to be part of the Club World Cup squad, reportedly.
This is the squad, by the way, ladies and
then,
Sierra Lopez
like,
is another.
And by the way, he wanted to leave. No, he didn't. Like, he actively pushed to, like, not be sold on a permanent because he wanted to come back and play for Chelsea after he developed. The only thing he wanted was more minutes and to play at centre-back. That's the only thing he wanted, really, was to get more minutes and play at centre-back.
So this is
like there was an option to sell him, and he went, "No, I want to I want to continue playing for Chelsea after this loan."
Now, can I? Where is this report that apparently we told Paez he was going to be part of Club World Cup and Vega that he was going to be part of the squad?
Let me see if I can.
Because I haven't read anything like that. But at the same time, too, like with the Paez thing, I'm not saying he should have known, but we all kind of had this idea that he was going to go to Strasbourg. Like, it's been rumored. Like, I don't know. I don't know if
this was okay. I just found it. This was a tweet from Ben Jacobs on the 11th. Justin Kenji Paez is understood to be disappointed as only last week he was told he would be going to the CWC and then have his future decided.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it up on the thing.
It's from the 11th of June.
We lied to him, bro.
Actually, no, never mind. I'll just take your word for it. Yeah, people heard
it. Man.
So, yeah.
That's why our returns pissed, man. Look how he plays rubbish for Ecuador these days, you know.
This guy, man.
Shout out Taha Ali, man. Taha Ali is definitely caring.
Where's my thing? Here it is.
What? Disrespectful.
Disrespectful towards Paez. But this is squad, guys. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, by the way, on the Vega thing, like this is from Fabrizio in January. Vega does not want to leave Chelsea permanently. He's now rejecting permanent deals because we want to sell him for 25. So like, this is why I don't really hear the Vega thing. Yes, he obviously pushed to leave to an extent, but it was more to get more minutes and play at centre back.
But at the same time, like, I also don't hear it for Vega too, because you knew you were gonna be a depth player when you came into the club. You didn't get enough minutes, which is on Maresca. I agree with that. Because you're playing Gusto at left back versus Liverpool instead of a right back in Vega.
That's my point. That's the point, bro. Like,
or, yeah, an actual.
Also, like, I don't think it helped. I think it was a similar situation as what I was talking about with the Santos thing earlier, where like I don't think I think him getting called up internationally actually didn't help the whole situation, because then obviously he wanted to play. He wanted to make sure
he wants to get into the World Cup team.
Yeah, like he obviously now he's got that taste. He wants to stay there.
Yeah,
especially because like that's that whole. Just defense in general, but especially the left side of the defense outside of Mendes, and even Mendes didn't start the season. I think he might. I might be correct. I think he might have started the season injured. But that left hand side of Portugal's defense is shit outside of Mendes. Like, there's a real chance for him to like get in as either like potentially left back or backup left back or centre back, most likely. So yeah, like you know, so his circumstances changed, which is why he wanted that loan. But again, like, there's another one where you've brought him back. And the thing is, even if you want to sell him, just call him up to the CWC so Kukurea has a fucking backup, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Because look at this. This is insane.
Kukurea is Iron Man. Kukurea is Iron Man. He's going to make it a dude. He's going to make it a dude, boys. Sorry. Kukurea! He drinks Estrella. He's going to be all right, lads. It's going to be all right.
You know what the funniest thing, actually? Sorry, do you know what the
never think that again.
Do you know what?
He drinks Estrella, he eats paella, his hair is massive.
That's so funny. The last thing. You know the other thing, by the way, do you know what the other thing about the Vega thing that actually kills me, by the way, is we're gonna, despite everything, right? Despite how you may feel about him, if you deep it, we're going to sell him to then replace him with someone that's going to cost us 3 times as much as he cost.
It kills me, bro. Like we're really gonna.
But you know what, man? Fuck Vega anyway. Fuck him.
Bro, like, Ahmed, I hope you're happy spending 30 million on Hato then, brother.
Yeah, I'm happy to spend 30 million on Hato because I think he's better than Vega. So Vega can go fuck himself, with all due respect, man. Man trying to do the little, you know, I'm sorry. Please, take me, please. Shut up.
If that was Madueke, brother, we'd be hearing silence from you right now.
Nah, man, I'll tell you the same thing. I promise you, I would say the same thing about Madueke. I would say the same thing about Madueke.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, we're gonna tell, like, we really told Kukurea, bro. So in terms of backup, we have no back.
Listen, I've always said, man, I'm bad with players, boys.
Kukurea walked in and said, so I'm getting that rest right, and they went, Rest.
Bro, this is Cucurella, bro. When he pulls up to the Club World Cup, man. He knows he's finished, bro. He knows he's finished. No rest. Just played 120.
Buddy, show left back. Buddy, show left back. I'm here.
Nah, bro. Gusto left back. Let's run it, man.
That's probably what's gonna happen, by the way.
No, it is Gusto left back. That's why I said it's gonna be Gusto left back.
Yeah,
like unironically, bro. I'm telling you right now, man. Bro, I'm telling you that first Club World Cup game, bro. This is gonna be my mood, bro. It's gonna be my mood right here, man.
I'm gonna be loving it, brother. I'm gonna be praying on Chelsea's downfall the whole game.
The issue is, again, no.
Realistic. We're not gonna lose. Come on.
No, that's my problem, Scott. If we actually got a good group, I'd be like, all right, bet, let's get grouped and teach them a lesson. But these guys, the people in the group, are so trash, bro.
No, they're actually, to be fair, like,
no, they're not, bro.
Oh no, Tunis suck. LAFC
So does LAFC. LAFC are trash, bro. No, they won't. Trust, they're not, bro.
Flamengo, the team that might be able to do something.
Flamengo are the only ones, and hold up, and that's a big if or and the maybe.
Guys,
you know what's gonna happen to LAFC? This is gonna happen.
We're getting
as we speak. I'm not entirely sure what about. What is, without question, is our positive.
What was that for?
Jackson's gonna score a hat trick on LAFC, bro.
Oh,
I'm telling you, bro.
To be fair, with LAFC, I'll be honest.
Master, man, you're actually a nasty fella, mate. You're a nasty fella.
I'll be honest, bro. Do you know what? I'll tell you what. Gusto, if I'm seeing Gusto at right back, if I'm seeing how their best player is playing at the moment, might be Jova for him with how he's playing for us.
LAFC.
No. Listen. Gusto locked up works, man.
Gusto, no, that's like Gusto.
Internationally.
No. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. The reason why Gusto is trash. Gusto has not been trash defensively.
Yes,
it's going forward. He's been awful. No, he's not been that bad.
He's been
no,
bad.
End of the season, he's not. End of the season, he's not been bad defensively, bro.
I mean, the Conference League doesn't help.
No, I'm not even speaking of Conference League, bro. I'm telling you, just like. I'll tell you, the Conference League was like, because when you ask him to invert, bro, he loses his brain cells. He doesn't know how to recover quickly enough when he inverts. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right on that for 100%. But if you keep him just as traditional right back and you ask him to defend, he's not had a good season. I understand that.
He's probably not gonna play, by the way, the first game either, because he's
gonna play.
France.
Then who's gonna play?
But probably by these shows up, but like I'm being honest, like he's not gonna play. Like he's
right back.
Left back. You know what I mean? That's it.
Who's playing right back?
Reece James, maybe. I don't know. Did he play?
Who's just come back from international duty?
Yeah, man, don't worry, man. Let's test his hamstrings, man. Apparently, everyone's saying that he's good, so let's test it, man.
Yeah.
I'm here to test it. Why not? Why can't we test it? Oh, yeah. You got to Tempong too, by the way, so why are we acting like this guy?
Play Josh. Fuck it.
Oh, yeah, we do have Josh.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's going to be Gusto left back, Josh on the right.
No, Gusto's not going to be ready for
we're gonna have a back four of potentially what's it called? We're gonna have from right to left, Josh, Sarr, Badiashile, Gusto, bro, with Sanchez behind.
You might have to play a free at the back, by the way. You might have to play a free at the back.
I'm glad I'm not going to Georgia to watch that game.
Bro, I'm watching that game.
You might have to. We might have to play like a free at the back, by the way, in that game. It probably will be a free at the back because like we won't have like a left back.
Ahmed, do you know who our manager is?
I know, but he does that anyway. He does the hybrid free at the back anyway. He does the hybrid free at the back anyway.
Since when?
You know, like he does the free at the back and then he inverts, no?
No, as in we go with 3 in the back in possession, but off the ball it's going to be the same as it always is.
But listen, we're gonna have to make that happen.
Bro, that's such a trash back line, bro.
We'll see what happens.
Fuck.
Another player I want to discuss is going to be the other player we didn't get done. And
who is that?
I actually don't mind walking away from this one when we did, but let's read into it. Let's get some more context. Well, let's see. I have to read into it a little more. I just know things happened.
Does he know?
Okay. Okay, let me find out, because I also use this to inform myself. All right. Get ready. New bid for Jamie Gittens incoming. Chelsea want to try to be fast, and I'll give you details soon, but it will include add-ons to strike an agreement. Chelsea held talks today with Dortmund. Joe Shields again is doing a special job in this with a mark of X City. I'm sorry, trigger warning. Mark of X City Academy on Chelsea team. This was 4 days ago for Fabrizio Romano reporting. We also have here that apparently Chelsea are continuing to pursue the deal for Jamie Gittens despite Borussia Dortmund holding out for a fee of a region of £40 million.
He didn't
continue
know.
on. Jamie Gittens is Chelsea's priority for Club World Cup, but Alejandro Garnacho remains a player appreciated by Chelsea. Ugh. How about that? Chelsea remain in active talks for Jamie Bino Gittens. Also, in this case, deal not guaranteed to happen by the end of deadline day. Talks with Dortmund will continue. Then we have here Chelsea exclusive. Chelsea has submitted a new bid for Jamie Gittens of €50 million. Agreement between the Blues and the winger already in place as revealed 7-year contract. Then we have here that immediately the bid was rejected for £42 million for Gittens, according to Petrovic. Ben Jacobs saying here, Chelsea had placed a second bid of £42 million for winger Jamie Gittens, according to Fabrice Hawken. In ballpark are Dortmund's asking price, but no agreement between clubs yet. Chelsea still optimistic of striking a deal, but never any urgency to get it done in time for Club World Cup, which was not what we were told. But we continue. Then we have here plenty goal. Jamie Gittens to Chelsea has collapsed. Deal off for this window. That was again day of the we'll call it D-Day for lack of a term. When all these deals collapse before Club World Cup. Borussia Dortmund keep rejecting Chelsea bids for Jamie Bino Gittens, but the negotiations will continue also beyond Club World Cup window. Chelsea want Jamie Bino Gittens, and the player wants to move as he agreed on contract until June 2032. Chelsea will insist again. If Dortmund had not included him in their squad, Chelsea would have been able to add him to their squad due to an in-tournament registration period after the group stages. So if deal were to be agreed in the coming days, Gittens would not be able to feature for Chelsea at Club World Cup because players are not able to represent two teams at the tournament. Jamie Gittens, apparently very frustrated with the development, has drove away from the training ground at high speed, obviously trying to catch the Casually stream, but that's besides the point. A new proposal could have already been on the table in the next days for Jamie Gittens. Chelsea want the player, and Gittens is literally waiting for Chelsea's phone call. Chelsea feel they were well covered up front for... Oh my God. Okay. Chelsea feel they are well covered up front for Club World Cup, so didn't want to play Club World Cup tax for Gittens. Dortmund were asking for £55 million to £60 million. For
that £60 million bid after the Club World Cup is going to hit like crack.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
This is going to happen on Monday.
Yeah. We'll see. Does the club know that Tariq George is our only left winger?
I doubt they know what day of the week it is, Marshall, to be completely honest with you.
Well covered up front. Listen, I'm glad they didn't pay the price. This Club World Cup thing is fine. Like, fuck that. The Club World Cup tax. Like, fuck that, obviously. Like, I'm fine with that. But again, I go back to the whole... You could have gotten this done way before we even got to this point. Like, you could have gotten it done and had the here we go by June 1st. There's no reason we should be negotiating this still now. And that's kind of where I'm at with this whole situation. If you want to bring in Gittens, fine. I don't think he's worth this price, to be honest with you. I'm sure no, but
let me ask you this question. Question, right? We think he's worth around like what 35 realistically, right? Like that's probably what it should be at.
I would even say 40, 45.
40 max.
Okay, 40. Let's say 40, right? How much would you pay to not have Garnacho at this club?
That price.
Oh God.
The fact
add that onto what I find exciting. Like at whatever price you think, add that on to Gittens' price.
By the way,
like if you ask me how much I would pay to not have Garnacho at this club, I can't be pissed about Gittens, bro. I'm just pissed at what you said that it's not done. That's it.
RSM, do you know what's nuts to me, by the way? When people want to talk about these guys have got like, and I've said this before and I was wrong, but people want to defend it now still about but they have amazing talent ID. Look at who they looked. They've been linked with Duran. They found Samu. Are you telling me the only two dudes you can find that you think are suitable for our left wing position are Gittens and Garnacho? That's what you're telling me. You can't find no one else. There isn't a single
lazy, bro.
There isn't a single other dude in the whole of world football. Like, I'll take some dude from the Peruvian league.
No, you don't.
Over Garnacho.
No, you don't.
Yeah. We'll take that.
No. You don't say that. You don't say that. I say that. Okay. I can talk to you about my cousin.
Who's that striker, man? Who's that striker, man? There you go. Who's that striker you got, man? I forget his name.
Guerrero, who had a great volley against Ecuador, by the way.
He looks quality, man. He looks quality, man. Bring him in.
Yeah, he used to be quality.
Yeah, he used to be 2 decades ago.
This is what's nuts. It's like, if Gittens is your.
He suits the squad. I'll be honest, Marshall, man. He suits the squad. He's got the dreadlocks too. He suits the squad.
He's got the
has the dreadlocks too. Oh my god, bro.
Chelsea are set to be this one gets me, Scott. Chelsea are set to be surprised by Gittens' negotiations. They assume sooner or later Borussia Dortmund would accommodate them because they needed the funds and Gittens.
Bro, I'm telling you, no, bro, I'm telling you, bro. It's like, bro, clowns arrive into city surprised by posters talking about the circus. Like, what do you expect, bro? They know you're clowns, bro. That's
big up Stoppy. Big up Stoppy for the raid. Thank you so much, brother. I didn't mean to play that. Stoppy raid, big up, guys. Welcome to the stream. If you haven't done so already, smash the like on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ignore Ahmed. But yeah, check out the links in the description. All that fun stuff. We're talking Chelsea. We're bantering our own club because we suck at negotiating deals.
Yeah, Staffy, you can keep going that show. Thanks, mate. We don't need it.
And also, Jacob, man, how do you feel about that? Here we go, man. That you got today, man. How you feel about that, bro?
Wait, what here we go did he get?
That's what he said. He said trailer trash flying in, trash cans on me dancing. That's what he feels about. He calls him what do you call trailer park Tommy, I think. Trash can Tommy is what he's calling him.
Bottom boy Tommy Raid.
There you go, man.
Bottom boy Tommy is actually outrageous, by the way.
Yeah, but he hates Tommy, so there you go, man.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I find it nuts how, like, if you want Gittens, cool. If Gittens is your number one,
Gittens. Tommy.
How the fuck is Garnacho the backup, brother? How in the fuck is Garnacho the second option? Like, RSM was spitting earlier. Like, I don't even want Gittens, but he's saving us from literally the worst option you could think of in world football. Like, there isn't a worse option. There's not a worse player.
And for me, that's one of the worst sins committed, bro, by these sporting directors, forcing me to accept Gittens so I don't get Garnacho.
Yeah, facts, bro.
Disgusting, bro. That's disgusting.
The fact that we could end, like, there's a world in which we could end up paying, let's say, like 80 mil, and I have to accept it because otherwise it's Garnacho. Do you know how disgraceful that is?
I don't know.
But that was always gonna happen, bro. But that was always gonna happen, bro. But I don't understand why we keep saying this stuff. Like, we know that this was always gonna happen. This is the whole thing. Like, we always
but Ahmed.
At some point, the Bucks got to stop, Ahmed.
No, but Ahmed, it's not even that, bro.
It's not. Before you go, Scott, yeah, I need to make this point because I feel like people seem to forget this. Yeah, the club just looks at data. Statistically, from a statistical standpoint, it makes sense for them because, again, if you look at his take on spend 90 and his the other thing under it, yeah, he cooks in that. Same with Garnacho. Garnacho is a great drive of the ball, according to them. Can drive out the ball. Then for some reason,
the only thing Garnacho is good at driving is driving me closer to the edge, bro. That's the only thing he's good at driving, bro. Give it up, bro.
The thing for them, yeah, they're not looking at the end product. They're saying the manager can improve the end product. But with Garnacho, he can drive and then cut inside. That's the whole point. That's the whole thing.
Ahmed, I'm looking at right.
I'm about to drive at 100 and then cut inside.
I'm about to kill a fucking spider.
Interesting. I'm looking at Garnacho's stats, by the way, bro. Like, his stats are shit. The only things that are good, and this is where I agree with Ahmed, but I think someone put this.
What is Ahmed doing, bro?
What is he doing, bro?
He's trying to kill a spider, bro. He's kill. Why is he?
Bro, he's getting jockeyed by a spider. What the
the spider was giving, bro. The spider hit him with the Doku, bro. What's he doing? That's crazy.
The spider's Jeremy Doku. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. The spider had him on skates, bro.
I can't, bro. No, I'm fucking sweating.
He's still going. What was that? Oh yeah, the thing is, the only stat that's actually good is like the amount of shots he takes.
Not a real person, man.
Oh my god, bro! This POV is killing me, man. I can't.
Please subscribe and like the stream. You ain't getting anything like this,
bro. Stop zooming. He's getting dead, bro.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Just straight belly to camera is crazy. Ahmed is too funny, bro. He thought he killed it and it was still alive when he put it in his hand. Bro, he thought it was dead and it was still alive in his hand.
Jacob's coming to kill me.
This guy's not a real person. This guy's genuinely not a fucking real person. Wash your hand. You killed the bug. Wash your fucking hand.
Oh.
I fully thought that he was gonna turn the camera off. I don't know why he left it on, bro.
Shit.
Why'd you leave the camera?
No, that's true. Ahmed, bro, Ahmed, you were getting stuck in, man. Ahmed, you were getting stuck in, bro. I see it. Fully committed.
Man, defending like Gusto out here, bro.
Yeah, at the beginning, the spider, bro, he was putting you on skates, man.
Man. I was inverting into midfield, bro. Struggling.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. What were we talking about? I don't even fucking remember, bro.
Oh.
Derailed the show. Oh, fucking A, bro.
Oh my
Gittens,
god.
Right?
I think so.
Ahmed, I can't believe you put the spider in your hand, realized it was still alive, then freaked out.
No! What happened was I thought I killed it, but it's still moving. It was still flying. That's the whole point. So then again, and then it's behind the bin. That's why. I'm really scared of these animals. There's so like them in my house.
Oh my god, bro.
Jacob's not wrong.
Oh man, never change, man. Never change.
Yeah, never change, bro. God damn, bro. Derailed the show though. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about. Oh, there's no other fucking winger talents out there or some shit like that. I don't even know. What are we talking about, chat?
We're talking about that. Oh yeah, Garnacho. I looked at the stats, by the way. The only good stats are his shots per 90, and that's because he just takes so many of them.
Yeah.
Doesn't Gittens also have good shots per 90? Or am I
I don't know
bugging?
how it gets. I'm just looking at Garnacho's.
He does take a lot
Yeah,
of
bro.
shots.
But that's the only thing. You can't even tell me it's about stats, man, because his stats stink as well, bro. Like, bro, these men are just like, I don't know how.
Yeah,
this is the worst. Is this the worst player we've ever been linked with?
Probably, honestly.
But there's nothing redeeming about him at all.
Can't think of another.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think when you factor in price and what we know about him, then yeah.
Yeah, he's the worst winger. He might be the worst winger in this league. Outside of maybe like, I don't know, one of Ipswich's wingers, like Hutchinson's better than him, but I don't know who the fucking other winger is.
Yeah, I was about to say Anthony, but he left, so.
Yeah.
Even Anthony left and stood on business, bro. And Anthony wasn't even that bad when he played for United. He just was not great.
Yeah, but Anthony in the premise is barbecue chicken.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That Ahmed fucking took me.
That's true though. Ahmed do not have a good vertical, bro. No hops. No bunnies.
Oh, fucking Christ, bro.
It is.
I think we're done talking about Gittens. Point is,
yeah, we're good, bro.
Listen, I don't mind them going back for it. Please, I don't think he's worth that price. Surely they can negotiate something that is like add-on package and shit.
Based on what?
We've done it before. I mean, we got the add-on packages for fucking what's his face? I mean, Mudryk is the one that comes to mind, but that's not a good example.
Yeah, do you know how much we paid up front for Mudryk?
65.
Yes.
Yeah. Surely the buck has to stop somewhere. Like at some point, like either the ownership needs to notice, but this is where I go back to like, I almost wish we didn't make top 4 now, because
we're about to be 4 seasons deep, nearly.
I know, but like part of me almost wishes we failed to get top 4 again, or failed to make UCL again, because I genuinely think that because we got UCL, these directors actually think they're justified in their decisions.
But you know what? You know what it is though, Marshall? I feel bad though, because like I would wish that, but I actually don't hate the players, most of the players on the pitch. Like I actually want to see them succeed, but I want to see the directors suffer. It's a hard position to find myself in.
The thing is right now, yeah, we just need to realize, you know, I said this before, man. These guys You know the way they play, man. Garnacho is the number 2 option. They probably will get Gittens done because I think they want Gittens more than Garnacho. So they'll and you know what the club is like. If they really love someone, yes, daddy. Here's all the money you want. Yes, daddy. You know what I mean? They'll do that, bro.
That's
That's what they do. That is what they do. That's what they do. So, for me, that's what they say. Yes, daddy. Here's the money.
That, by the way. A little too comfortable.
TV, that's a you problem, bro. I'm just telling you. Listen, that's what they do. That's what they're going to do. I'm just, I'm a good method actor. I just, I'm able to get into their head. That's the difference.
What?
I'm just a good method actor.
I do think there's an element of like we are a little bit fucked either way because I think we had this conversation before on the stream. I think it was mine and yours, Ahmed. I think I was there with RSM where like we obviously as a fan we all want to get top 4. But if we get top 4, these directors and then by extension these owners, in terms of mainly Clear Lake and Egbali, when I talk about the owners I'm focusing on, they're justified in what they're doing because it has to a point like gained fruition in terms of what's happened. But for us to witness real change in terms of these sporting directors leaving and the model changing, we need to be like shit, like really shit. Like I'm talking maybe even worse than under Potter. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to watch my team be that shit.
No, but that's the thing. Hold up, Scott. By the way, Scott, I've already said. By the way, these players are going to guarantee us pretty much top 4 every season. That's it. The players we have now, we will not fall out of the top 4.
Do you really
most likely.
feel like it? No, this is the question. So you can ask this RSM as well. If we do, like hypothetically speaking, we lose top 4, are these guys gone? I don't think they're gone. I'll be very honest with you. I really do not think these sporting directors are gone. These sporting directors are really committed.
Now, TK, you're the one that deserves Garnacho because you're the one that wants to dick around these sporting directors.
These directors are really committed crimes against football.
You're missing context. It's not, for me, it's not because of Maignan. And I don't think for most of us here, it's not because of Maignan. For me, personally, me saying that.
Maignan is the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think that people can't realize that fucking stupid. And like I said, people that want to dick ride the sporting directors like you and like others, you're the ones that deserve Garnacho because you think this is
dick riding it, but like I think with me, I almost wish we didn't because from the sporting director aspect of it, I think the ownership I don't think have learned they know the sport better than what they did when they initially came in, but I don't think they're looking at the mistakes as much as they're looking at the overall results.
Exactly.
The overall results that the directors have gotten have been, we're in top 4 again, and we won a trophy. And they're going to say, wow, the directors got us that. But they're probably not noticing or probably not savvy to the fact that we struggled to get there. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we were, like, it was a guaranteed and I was confident the whole time. No, like, I backed my club, don't get me wrong, but I was well aware that I was going to have mud on my face, and it was likely that it could happen because we weren't in good form when I said we were going to get Champions League. I was just backing my club. I had a gut feeling that, okay, I think these players can turn it around. And luckily for me, they did, right? And luckily for us as Chelsea fans, right? But there's context to that. There's reasons why we were in that position because of the recruitment, because of a lack of depth. We were building a team around Lavia, who we weren't sure was going to be fit the whole time, and building a defense around a Fofana who has a history of injuries. The owners don't see that. The directors do. But because the directors get top 4, they get their plaudits and their praise, even though they have criticisms that are along with that, that's not being heard by the owners. So had they had failed to get top 4, had they had failed again, I think there would have been more pressure on the directors this summer than there is now.
You know what it is, boys? Yeah, I think TKL, and I'll say this to you again. TKL, I think he's regular watcher on my channel. He understands this, yeah. I always said that. I think the guys here, I think they hope whenever we try to go and negotiate with maybe guys with a bigger name that are going to add real quality to the team, that we can do a better negotiation of the job and actually bring these guys in. The problem has been, TK, if you look at it from this sporting director history, whenever we go for these good key players, we are consistently faltering due to our sporting directors being inadequate negotiators, bro. right?
It's
That's the main issue right now. When it comes to big signings, that's the problem, TKO. My thing for me is I don't care who the club target anymore because I've come to the realization I know what the club targets are right now. Right?
I don't care what the club targets are.
Yes, because I know what they are. I just look at it. How does he work? Does he fit the system? That's it, man. My opinion now is over because if it was my opinion, I'll be probably targeting other players, in my personal opinion, of even the younger quality, by the way, not the older quality, of the younger quality. So that's why I've kept my mouth shut on the signings this year. I don't know if you've noticed, guys. I've not even said they're good or bad. I've just said that's who he's signing.
No, and I'm going to say ilk right now, and people on the Discord probably heard me say it. They heard me say it yesterday. Personally, me, I don't really care about the signings anymore because there have been some signings that I was critical of when you signed them, and then when they performed and they played, they shut me up. And there have been some signings that look good in the beginning and then at the end of the day ended up being shit. You look at the Nkunku for that. You look at Badishile for that. You know, even Disasi to an extent, in the beginning, I was like, okay, I can see a decent defender there, and he's been getting worse and worse and worse, right? And then there's some signings where you're just like, oh shit, like there's a good player there. Nani was a critical one. I've seen Nani improve, and as much as people keep saying like they don't rate Nani, he is one of our best wingers. He has shown improvement. He is a goal scoring. He is a winger that can, if he keeps developing, can be a good winger. He's doubled in his price.
I want to say something, Marshall, and I know you heard me say this, when we ended our last Chelsea transfer stream. You know what it is, every guy that we keep on bringing in is not better than Madueke or Neto. Yeah, but we consistently cook the Madueke and Neto, bro. That's
I agree with you. Hang on. I agree with you.
No, I'm just talking. Sorry, maybe not you. Sorry, my apologies, Scott. But like the comments here, they always cook Neto, so they always cook Madueke every single time. But my problem is, bro, I want someone better than Madueke. But every sign we bring is probably 2 years away from either matching what Madueke gives us, or is even better than him.
No, Ahmed, I did this. I did this on. Ahmed, we did this on stream. We went to Transfer Market. Madueke is one of the highest rated prospects on the wing.
That's what kills me, bro. It kills me. Like, it really kills me.
Bro, and it's the same thing with Neto too. I think both of them are like top 25 respectively for their side.
It actually kills me, by the way. It actually kills me so much when we cook about our wingers. Because on one hand, you hear people say, "Oh, they don't have a recognized striker. That has been shit." Yeah, it doesn't really suit the way our wingers play, right? And then on the other hand, you'll be hearing these guys are shit. Bring in Elanga, bring in this, that, and everything else. But they get
yeah, bro. You hear people call them what is it? What is it?
These idiots. And then we came on. And then when we were trying to sign people, okay, go on to me, bro. Stop. Stop. So guys, how much does get the ball?
He's so angry.
We're about to. By the way, if we sign Gittens,
wait, Ahmed, can you remind me what you call Neto? What's his nickname you have for him?
No, I do not.
Okay. So that's his nickname.
Just by the way,
if
we sign, by the way,
yes, what he calls them.
I know.
If we sign Gittens, we would have spent close to 300 million on wingers without a single guy that you could say is comfortably a recognized starter in this team. Based on performances, because people will say Neto. At no point last season did Neto play like he would deserve to be a number one. At no point last season.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, Marshall? I always come back to this here.
300, nearly. Sorry, let me repeat that. I don't think that went down. Nearly 300 million without a single recognized guaranteed player you can say is a starter in this team.
Scott, let's look at these wingers you've signed. Yeah, we brought in Mikhailo Mudryk. Automatic bust and a PED guy now. Now PED.
No.
We invested money on Raheem, the nightmare Sterling.
I forgot about Sterling.
No,
Sterling.
Okay, we've also signed money.
No, it's even worse because Sterling. Hold up, it's not even just the money we spent on Sterling. He's the highest paid at the club.
Well, that's crazy. Nani Madueke is actually a better winger than Sterling.
Yeah, well,
And he's literally, I think he's legitimately like 1/3.
Remind me about the other wingers he brought, because I keep forgetting. I just thought about this Thursday.
Ahmed. So we have spent 62 million on McCollum Madrid. How much did we buy Sterling for? 40?
42.
42, fantastic. There's 100 million right there. We spent 60 something million on Neto. We spent
I still don't think that was a bust. I still don't think that was a bust.
I'm not saying Neto's a bust right now. Yeah. He could be good, but last season was crap. We spent 30, I think, on Madueke.
29 on Madueke. That's 29
on Madueke, cool.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
We spent 40 on Esteval. I think he will be good. But that's one I think he will be good. But that's 40 on Esteval. We spent
Quenda.
We spent 40 on Quenda. I completely forgot about that.
Armo was 45 as well.
We spent. Sure, we'll include him. If we're including him, cool. That just fuels it even more. 45 on Part or 40 on Palmer. We spent. I don't know whether you class him as a winger or not. 10 mil on Pyers, and we're about to spend another 60 on Gittens. Bro, we're pushing free. If we're including all of those, we're pushing 350, nearly 400 million.
Bro, we're doing the Man City of left backs, bro. Remember Man City like
yeah, every season, new fullback. Yeah.
Bro, at least they hit on like the second attempt, bro. Like they might have.
Oh yeah, and we spent 5 mil technically on Sanchez for a season too. Technically 5 mil on Sanchez for a season.
True.
Technically, oh my. Like, that's the point I'm just trying to make, guys. Yeah.
If you actually deep it and you go through each position, right? This is where we crash on these sporting directors so much at this point. Is like you go through each position in the pitch. We have either vastly under-delivered in terms of what we've spent, or in terms of focus, like the striking. We have vastly focused on that position, or we focused way too hard and spent way too much money. We bought 16 midfielders. We spent nearly 400 million on wingers. We bought like 9 defenders. We bought like 6 goalkeepers, and like not one of them. Like, how can you buy that many players in that many positions and be in a position where outside the midfield and the fullbacks, and let's be honest, when it comes to these sporting directors, you didn't even buy the fullbacks. Midfielders, you didn't buy the fullbacks. How are we getting to a point where like you can say that when it comes to signings they have made, you can count on one hand probably the number of players that can start for us.
The problem is, yeah, and I've said this before, yeah. If you just look at Chelsea's attack, yeah, you'd only say 4 signings have actually banged right now. Right now, Palmer, Madueke, and Jackson to an extent. This season not been great, but he did bang last season. Those are the 3 signings that have banged for us. Out of a possible how many? It's crazy. You know what I mean? That's deep. That was.
Ahmed, I can go one further, bro. Like if you go back to what I said, if you just want to look at guys who like I think can be, who deserve to be, let's say deserve to be starters in this team currently, and I'm going to say based on performances, because people can say, oh, I think this guy will come good. I'm just going to go on what I know and what I've seen. Based on performances, there are 5 guys I can think of in this team that deserve to be starters. 2 of them are signings. These sporting directors.
Wait, only 5?
Kukurea, Colwell, currently Reese, Enzo, and Caicedo. Oh shit, 6.
Palmer. Okay, I was about to say. I'm like, who?
Yeah, no, yeah, I forgot about Palmer.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Okay, cool. So it's 6 and it's 3.
That's 6. Yeah.
That's half a fucking team. Number 1 for the 6. And it's 3 out of 50 at this point.
I think when we talk about their hit rate on defenders, that's where it falls
apart, bro. In general, bro, like the midfield is the only thing they seem to get right. And if we actually deep it, like, but no, actually, no, I'm not even going to like try and twist it or anything. I could. I think there's arguments to make. I'm gonna just be kind and say when it comes to hit rate on midfield, it's been good. The hit rate on literally every other position is shit. Every other position is shit. Fullbacks actually is the other one they do manage.
Because I would say I think Chukwuemeka is decent. I think the injuries killed him. I think Leslie's still a good player. I think Cassidy was just a miss. That's what I'll say. I'll call it a miss.
You've been decent, Torino. I think they've been very decent, Torino. By the way,
I think Cassidy could have been good if you'd actually bothered to develop him, but you decided to.
But it's just like but like to be fair though, like when you had Santos, way ahead of him, then you had to move him on.
I think for me, I just look at. I've said this before. I just look at who is signing and how we're going forward with stuff, and it's just I feel like we're just adding years more onto the situation that we're currently in the middle of. That's what it looks like to me. So that's why I'm not too concerned about who he signed at this moment in time.
No, the thing is, like, I know that. I think where I'm upset about is I know, like I said before, that this team is probably going to get a top 4 again. We're going to be somewhat competitive in the Champions League. Like, as much as people want to say, like, every team will run over us, bro. They're like, there's like Red Star Belgrade. Like, we're not going to get run over by every team. All right,
make
like,
the quarters. I told you this before. We make the quarters, bro.
But yeah,
but that's the quarters. We definitely get out the.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on who we get before the quarters. Yeah. But what I will say though is it frustrates me because we are going to, in my opinion, waste a year of these players' careers for no reason. That's the way I look at it. And we're going to waste a year of our time as well, because we're going to say the same things we said last season, and we're going to be exactly as frustrated as we are right now, because we know that certain players in our teams, they can be winners for major trophies. They can be part of teams that win stuff for major trophies, but they're being held back by the people that they have in front of them and behind them.
I do think that the way, and going to TKL's comment,
this is I didn't want to address this, but this is genuinely that you can tell this guy didn't listen and is genuinely retarded.
He's just cherry picking what he hears. That's what it is.
Oh, 100%. Because I didn't say the whole team sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
He just said 6 nailed on starters. That doesn't mean everybody. The other 5 are just trash.
I'll go further. I'll say there's 7, but the 7th they don't want to play. They're trying to sell. I'll say he's a guaranteed nailed on starter, but they don't want to. They don't want to.
Because this is the thing. I'll say no. Like, the thing is, if we make the 3 players, right, it would be striker. I would say striker, keeper, and winger. And I think even with the shaky center backs that we have, I think even with the shaky center backs, that's enough to challenge. Like, I'm not saying win it, but that's enough to challenge.
100%. But I'd change it up as well. I'd say winger and striker definitely. I'd say centre back and stop Petrovic in goal. That's a team you could challenge.
Yeah, I just completely took away Petrovic because that brother's gone. So
that's fair. Yeah, even with,
but you had the solution.
If you sign Maignan, if you sign Osimhen, and if you'd have signed someone like an Elise,
I told you, bro, the Elise Osimhen window, man, it's gonna haunt me for life.
Bro, that's you could have the centre backs we've got. You could play a centre back partnership if he was fit for Fana and Colwell, or even let's say a Tosin and Colwell, and that's probably enough to challenge. Now, whether we win is a different story. That's a title challenge. And then guess what? Because you've got those guys, and you can afford to have maybe a Neto, who at the moment isn't a guaranteed starter, or a Madueke, who's probably not a guaranteed starter in that other wing position. It doesn't matter. I've said this before. If it was when we talked about the Esteval thing, I said, if you've got guys like in an attack, if you had an attack of Osimhen, Olise, Palmer, and Esteval's the 4th, I'm fine with that, because Esteval's the 4th threat in that team. He's the one that's getting the less attention paid to him, because the rest are all, theoretically at least, on paper better than him and more of a threat. So that's the whole point. The fact that we've got in our team in attack currently, we've got Delap. Well, actually, let's take Delap out of it for the moment. Before this summer, you had our attack was Madueke, Neto, Palmer, and Jackson. 3 of those guys you can't say deserve to start for us on a week-to-week basis.
I also,
if we're challenging for a title, I'll point out. If you wanted to get top 4, cool, then they can.
Yeah.
If you want to challenge for a title, 3 of those 4 guys can't.
But this is why. But again, this is why I said the club doesn't want to challenge, and at minimum, probably you want to challenge the next 2 years. They don't want to challenge now.
Yeah,
why.
It's future challenging. Not
that's what I'll tell you.
we're
going to waste this next year, and that's what pisses me off. Unless once again they get bailed out by the players that we currently have in our team. Because I said, if Palmer, listen, it's this simple. If everybody maintains their levels, Palmer gets back to the level he even 50% more than what he gave us this season, and the lap is a semi hit. That's enough to get like a cup. I'm saying right now, that's enough for an FA Cup.
Yeah.
And then they get bailed out, which pisses me off.
Yep.
Like, I'm happy, but it pisses me off.
Yeah, because another sporting director can do both, right? They can get players for the future and they can get players for the now. And these guys fail to do so. And that's the problem I have. Like, I don't have an issue with, like, this is where I'm at with I'm in the same boat as Ahmed, where I don't care about the signings at this point. What I care about is if you get them done, because I don't care about all this chit chat and all this news and negotiations and all the scouting and shit. Get the fucking deal across the line and prove me wrong with the players that you signed. If you really see the talent there, and this is the profile that fits Maresca's system, bring them in and prove us wrong, right? And you have done that with some players. But in terms of for challenging, Ahmed's kind of nailed it in the head as well. Like, they're signing players that will be here to help us in the positions that we need, but in 2 years. Kenda is like the prime example of that. Esteval is a prime example of that. We knew we needed a proper 8 in Santos. That's the thing. We got Santos 2 years before we needed it.
Yep. In their mind, right? In their mind, by the time Quenda and Esteval are ready, they'll hope that Neto and Madueke are in their primes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're a year at the earliest, not this coming season, but like in 2 years at the earliest in terms of what they envision the team to be at. And for me as well, I think we haven't spoken about it, but I think it's pertinent. Like, this is where I'm at with Maresca, right? One, I'm not going to listen to anything he says. Like, there is no, I think at this point we've learned there's zero value to be gleaned from the stuff that he says. He's always going to defend the players. He's never going to speak out against sporting directors. The only time that you can see what he really believes is on the pitch, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, Maresca asked for KDH. Did it seem like that? Did it seem like he asked for KDH? Did it seem like he asked for Felix?
By the way, how has KDH scammed the Club World Cup spot?
Bro, I just think it's
because we have nobody else. That's what it is.
Minerals, bro. But then, like, when if an offer comes in for it,
because push comes to shove, he's an experienced head in terms of he's actually played.
No, I get that. I get that. No, but
I think it's the case. He is one I talked about earlier of like the guys, the homegrown guys. He is one I can see end up sticking around because of like to fill a homegrown quota. He's one I can see sticking around. Like, because if you want to like maybe loan out George, maybe loan out Achimpong, although I don't think that's likely. I think George is probably more likely to go. Kellyman's going out on loan. If Madueke gets sold, I think KDH just used to be one of like that last guy, because I think I worked it out the other day. If we sell everyone I think we're expecting to sell, based on reports and based on what we've heard, we'll have 7 homegrowns, which is 1 too few. So we'll have to go into next season with a reduced squad. If we do that.
It's crazy you say that, because honestly, now that I deep it, that might be one of the reasons they've kind of seemed to be turning a 180 on Chalaba all of a sudden.
They haven't though. I didn't include him. There's been reports. There was a report.
He's still on the list, but I think it's one of those things where like if they are forced to keep him, I don't think they're that upset about it. I'll say that much.
Also, actually, to be fair, it might even be 6. I think when I did the calculations, I included Sanchez, and obviously at the time, I don't know what's going to happen, but if we get Maignan, there's been talk of him leaving as well.
Yeah, if they're going to make Jorgensen second until Penders is ready, and then they'll sell Jorgensen.
Yeah, there could be a spot for KDH just in terms of he's going to get no minutes, bro. He's basically not played.
But listen. What to finish my thoughts on Maresca is I think I said this to Marsha too until I responded. I think like I have a little bit more respect for what Maresca did last season, because when I really look at the summer window that they gave him when he came in, bro, Poch had an infinitely better summer window than Maresca did.
100%.
Maresca got one of the worst summer windows we have had in a very, very long time, bro. It was almost all misses, almost all useless signings.
Yeah.
So when I look at it that way, like I look at the season, and then he obviously in the media he's like, no, I'm happy with Jackson. I don't want a striker, right? Clearly that's not the case, because we got Delapin and we gave him the number 9. So like, clearly that's not the case. And Maresca probably wanted a signing in winter window, didn't get any, got top 4 with that. And as much as I agree, like there are still issues that I have right with him, he is learning on the job, and I truly fear what would happen if the sporting directors have to find somebody else after Maresca.
The less we speak on that,
it actually horrifies me who might come, because I have my issues with Maresca, but when I look at what these sporting directors I think we lucked out, because they did not expect Maresca to be this good. They gave him 2 seasons to hit UCL.
Do you know why it might be even more cooked? Do you know who their backup was on that list after Maresca?
Thomas Frank.
Yep. We might be even more cooked if he leaves.
Thomas Frank, bro. Thomas Frank.
Do you know, but RSM, like, if Frank came in, like, that's a decent manager. He's gone, bro. Like, the backup's gone.
My problem.
Like,
so much.
Who's the third choice?
My problem so much now with what's happening right now is,
oh my God, it was McKenna. I remember.
Marshall,
oh my God.
I don't know about you, Marshall. Have you spoken about you haven't spoken about the strikers, right? I don't know if you want to speak about the strikers.
Well, we could move on to the next topic, which is actually Hugo. So
because there's a lot of news that's come out about the striker stuff, which is also leading me to believe that it's looking like Jackson might actually stay, and that was his name was right,
Oh, look at that! You're wrong. Because you were guaranteed he's leaving.
Yeah, man. But it's looking.
The thing I will always say about Ahmed is that when presented with new information, he's willing to change his mind.
Yeah, look at that. He's doing it now before I called him out on it. That's good. That's good. That's good. Beat me to the gun.
He's price proven,
director Marcus Krosh on Hugo Ekitike. If the price isn't right, then he will stay with us. Told Weiss Bidener Cure. I'm butchering that. Chelsea never sent any bid. Only asked the deal conditions 2 weeks ago, and Eintracht wanted 100 million euros. CEO Marcus. Kroish stays firm on his £84 million valuation of Ekitike. If the price is right, then he'll stay with us. We don't have to sell Hugo. Chelsea do hold an interest in Ekitike, but I think it's Liverpool who are really there. Chelsea were never advanced as people said, according to Ben Jacobs. So that's as far as I know with the whole striker situation. I haven't seen much more of an update in that, but I mean, it does seem from a few things that I have read that Ben Jacob is iterating that Maresca likes Nkunku and that they could, not Nkunku, I'm sorry, that Maresca favors Jackson and that we could go into next season with Jackson and Delap being our striker options, which I'm not that upset about, to be honest, guys. Like, we want to have this recency bias on Jackson. I know he didn't have the best season. There are other players who also didn't have the best season. Who's to say that he could turn it around and have the season he had when he came in here or improve on that season? Things can change for players. It could be the first season of a system change, getting used to that. It could be a slump. Things happen. Now, I've always been the type of person to give players 2 seasons before I make like real judgments. And where I stand with Jackson is I'm in the middle. If he goes, I'm not upset about it. But if he stays, I'm also not upset about it. I've seen what he can do at his best, which so far has been the first half of the season and I think a good portion of the Pochettino season, where he did end up getting 14 goals without penalties, which is more than what most strikers could say and do in that season alone. And he was on fire and was consistently keeping Nkunku, who we rated highly, benched. Let's be honest about it too. There's a lot of good aspects to his game. I understand he was an idiot for getting sent off. I understand the second half of the season was really, really bad. But you take that out of the picture, there's still a decent amount of good things and traits to talk about when it comes to Jackson. Now, Delap, I like Delap more as a profile. And I do think Delap will eventually be the number 1. And Jackson will be a bench option or rotate with him. I don't mind that too much. Would I rather get an Ekitike in? Yes, but he's also way too much. Would I rather an Osimhen? Yes, but I also don't think that's going to be realistic.
Stu, like
based on what we're
Frankfurt are doing the thing as well, by the way.
What thing?
Where they're doing the Liverpool's in actually, and also Arsenal are in, and now today was like, United are also in for Ekitike. It's like, yeah, give it up, bro. Frankfurt are trying to force us to pay the 100 M's. That's what they're trying to do. They're linking every club now to Ekitike.
Yeah. No, I'm okay on that. So, yeah, that being said, I'm okay with going into the season with these 2 guys.
But the problem is,
could always improve on it. Mm-hmm.
There was another report that, what's his name? I forget his name. Ben Jacobs, sorry. Sadly, where he was basically saying that once Nkunku leaves, they want the Nkunku swap. They want to swap Nkunku essentially for Morgan Rogers. Essentially, right? So that's the guy that they mentioned.
That's a W right there. I ain't gonna lie, that's a W.
Right? And so for me, if it's true that Maresca is deeply in love with Jackson, as they're saying, we know that it's been happening to what? End of the month for PSR stuff, and they're probably gonna force that move in basically. Does that make sense, Marshall? Where they tried to basically go all in for what's it called? Morgan Rogers. The thing about Ekitike is that I don't know if the club is truly as in love as maybe that is being made out to be. Because if they truly love him, they'll pay that 100 M's because we know the way the club works. If the club really loves that player and wants him, they will make sure to pay every single penny to make that happen.
What player is this for again? Ekitike?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Just because that price is ridiculous for that player. We all know it. Like,
it is, bro. But like I talked about this earlier, like it's another team, there's 2 things. There's number 1, it's another team of like
just trying to them digging their heels in the ground and being like, we're not moving, we're not budging from our price, and our sporting directors being completely incompetent at their job and not being able to negotiate at all. Like, how come City managed to go in when the evaluation, I think it was reported the evaluation for Marmoush midway through a season, by the way, in January, when he was their top goal scorer and their best player while they were on them, they were pushing for Europe for Champions League. They went and got him in for like 20 million less than his valuation. 20 million less. That's what proper negotiators do, by the way. 20 million less than his valuation. They won't budge for us at all because these guys are amateurs. And also because we're now dealing with a club who, well, there's two things to this. Number one, they have a history of this, Frankfurt, in terms of look at what they've got for attackers. I just talked about Colomboine earlier. 98 million euros. Marmoush, I think, was like 60-something million euros in January. Jovic to Real Madrid, I think that was 50 million. They're used to getting big money for their attackers when they do well. So it's not surprising that they're trying to get this. Number two is they don't need the money, bro. Like, they don't need to sell him. In fact, it's probably better for them at the moment that they keep him. And even, like, with the way it's working, if those teams are interested, United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, all three of those teams need a striker.
Yes.
Potentially. Obviously, we have got one, but if we're looking for another one, they can just get a bidding war going with three rich Premier League clubs.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And they have they are in no hurry for that to happen. So they can sit back, relax, and wait for that potentially to happen if we really, really want Hugo Ekitike. But there's also, like you said, Arsenal looking for a striker. Even though they're linked with Sesko and looks like they're going to go for Sesko, they're looking for a striker. There's other teams looking for strikers as well. So it could happen. It could very much become a bidding war. Okay, final topic I wanted to discuss while we're here is I haven't talked about him at all yet, so figure I'd bring him up a little bit and see where this is potentially going to go. He's a left back, Jottell Hato. Let's see what we have here. So I have a few links from a month ago, and then we'll work our way into what's going on now. So Chelsea already spoke with Ajax about Jottell Hato, and this is coming from Mike Verwej. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's okay. Then we go here. Alex Crook, June 3rd, reporting that initial conversation between Chelsea's recruitment team and Ajax are believed to have already taken place for Jottell Hato. Chelsea see him as potential cover for Marc Cucurella. Updated. Chelsea are eyeing a move for exciting Ajax defender Jottell Hato. The versatile 19-year-old can either play as left back or left-sided center back, and Chelsea see him as a potential cover for Marc Cucurella. Jottell Hato remains a player of interest to Chelsea. Appeal is in his ability to play left back and center back. Chelsea exploring defenders, but not expecting move for Jared Brathwaite despite the links, and there are links to Jared Brathwaite that apparently we haven't even placed a bid or anything, or even inquired about him. So, but yeah, also we're competing with Arsenal for him. So Arsenal apparently also interested in Jottell Hato, something to look at according to Fabrizio Romano. But this is really old, actually. I shouldn't have even brought this up, but this was him at 17 years old, actually. So it's not bad. Most tackles made, most ground duels won, most take-ons completed, most interceptions inside the box.
I think you mentioned too that like this guy, like how many minutes has he played? I think for
I can pull it up.
Quite a lot of
Ajax.
for them.
Yeah, like
he has a lot of experience. For
he's one of those things where it's like it's a young signing. However, is very experienced.
The vice captain of the team too, by the way.
Yeah, here you go.
I thought he was the captain. Oh wait, we talked about this. Yeah. Vice captain. Pull this up real quick.
He played 2,600 minutes. There is no difference this season in the league.
That's good, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I like this signing if we get him. As a backup to Cucurella, he can learn under Cucurella as well.
Yes.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind being a rotational, giving Cucu some breaks. And it's a position that I don't think a lot of people have been talking about getting, but when we deep it and when we looked at that Club World Cup squad, fuck, dude, we actually do need a backup for
We have zero left backs.
Yeah, I mean, we can't rely on Vega. It looks like he's on his way out. So that's that. So get another guy. And you like young signings. This is one that seems right. This is how things kind of.
The only thing I will say, Marshall, that you may not like, is that I know that there's a lot of hype about the young lad in the academy, Samuel Smith. I do feel like they should have given him a little bit of a test drive. If that makes sense. Like he should have gotten a test drive to see what he was about a bit more, to see if he could actually do that spot for us, because the club has produced really good fullbacks in that position. So that's probably that's the one thing I would say.
Here, I'll pull up a tweet that I found on this actually from a few days ago. Samuel Smith, is also expected to be around the first team picture next season as a potential backup to Cucurella, and Maresca likes him, according to Kieran Gill. So we'll see. He didn't get called up to the Club World Cup, which I'm having a hard time deciding whether or not I think the club are serious about Club World Cup or not, because on one hand, if you wanted to treat it like a preseason, then you probably would have brought in a few younger people, probably would have fucked around with a few more players and stuff. But the fact that they brought a strong-ish lineup, but then it baffles me, because of the same token, we would go back to that conversation we just had before about not getting deals done before Club World Cup outside of Delap, Isugo, if you want to count that. I'm not counting Mamadou Sarr. That's kind of where I'm like, I don't know. Are you guys taking this seriously or are you not? Because on one hand, like, because you don't take Samuel Smith with you, you could probably make the argument like, okay, it's because they probably want to try to win this. There's going to be no minutes for him. The Paes thing, like, I don't mind him going to Strasbourg, like what we were talking about before, because I think, obviously, RSM can speak more on this. He hasn't been playing. So it's not like he was going to come into the Club World Cup team and start. He was probably going to get some minutes off the bench. And once we got into like group stages, or
it was more so just so he would train with the team. Like that was really like the end goal. Maybe like, in the third game he gets more minutes and stuff. But yeah, like he definitely wasn't going to be a nailed on starter. Like that's not what was going to happen.
Yeah, which is kind of where I'm like, okay, well, we weren't going to see much of him in Club World Cup anyways, especially if we're taking this seriously, because we're going to put out a strong team to try to win that prize money. So, I don't know, man. I like the Gerald Hato link. I really hope it does happen, because we need a proper, like, a decent prospect, right? I know it's the Dutch league and it can be hit or miss, but he's young. He can learn under Cucurella, who is, has proven to be a really good left back for us. And he can rotate and get some minutes. And he's got experience too, which I think it ticks all the markers that all of us kind of are looking for. In terms of what kind of young signings we want to bring in, or what kind of players we want to bring in. That being said,
the one thing I will say, Marshall,
go for it.
The one thing I will say, and I'll ask this to the panel as well. I don't think any of the signings you've spoken about are going to get done by the end of June. So
no, probably not. I'll be honest.
That's my opinion.
Outside of Maignan, none of them.
Maybe Hato. Maybe that's a big maybe too.
I think the Hato one is the one that like probably takes the whole window, because like apparently all like, unless they actually are moving in silence with this one, we've heard nothing about us even like going in with a bid. It's all been just interest.
Yeah.
There's been nothing, no actual movement. As I said, unless they're moving in silence with that one, which would be new for them.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope they start moving in silence.
Yeah, I think the only one that gets done potentially before the end of June is Gittens. Outside of that, I don't think any of the others get done before June. I don't think the Ekitike one gets done at this point personally, unless we're going to suddenly pay the 84 million. And I don't think Maignan gets done. I genuinely think we probably only make 2 or maybe 3 transfers from now to the end of the season. I think we get Gittens, potentially Hato, and then maybe one weird signing out of nowhere, like the Neto one from last season.
Mm-hmm. God, I really hope we fucking... I I hope we go back for Maignan. I would like to bring him in because Petrovic is now out of the picture.
The Trafford deal
seems like Petrovic is out of the picture.
That Trafford
It
deal
might be that one, you know. It might actually be that one, you know.
Trafford deal is gonna hit that crack mouth. So.
You think that one's gonna be it, Scott? The Trafford deal?
I think it's either going to be Trafford or it might be another centre back. But I think that only happens if we get rid of some first.
Well, if I'm gonna be optimistic, at least Trafford is.
When I say centre back as well, I'm not talking about Hato, even though he's technically a centre back / left back. I'm talking like another centre back as well.
Yeah, what we even get for centre back? Like we haven't even.
You could get Gehi. Like, that's the one that's been linked with, but we've heard nothing about that at all. Like outside, we had a bit in January, and since.
But to be fair, all the links for Gehi have gone quiet. Like literally every single one.
That's true.
That's true. Well,
it's no club anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
They got Europa League, bro. So like, the clubs that would be able to sign him are only clubs in the Champions League. Apparently, he said no.
And he has to be willing to leave as well. Like
100%, but it's like apparently he said no to Tottenham. So then the only clubs that could
that's understandable though. That's understandable though.
100%. I'm not saying that like he's wrong for telling them, but like I think the only other two clubs that were interested were us and Newcastle. Mm-hmm. And I think Newcastle at the moment they're trying to get that right winger done, and we're trying to get other things done as well. Like I think it's just a case of both clubs that were interested are trying to get other positions sorted first.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. This is, of course, what it's always like, the damn transfer window saga, the ups and downs, the roller coasters of this goddamn club. So hopefully more optimistic and more positive news starts to come out, and we can maybe have more serious conversations about, well, not like we haven't, but maybe we can start having more serious conversations about potentially challenging next season, because as the things look right now, I'm not very confident that we'll be challenging with the team we have. But I
can tell you we're not going to challenge. I can tell you we're not going to challenge.
I can be
we're not.
I can tell. I think we're going to maintain top four. Next season.
Top four.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we might have a flurry at starting to compete, but the main thing that's going to happen is going to be that we gotta solidify our spot, and
what I will say is I doubt that what happens this this winter time, like last season, happens again. However, what I think will happen though is that we will maintain like the same amount of points that we did before we fell off. So like, you know how we were 2 points behind Liverpool, like City will be better, right? City will be better, Liverpool will be better, Arsenal will still be on the same, so we'll be fourth. Like we'll be in and around, right? But we won't be anywhere near like, oh yeah, they're challenging. Nah, bro.
TKO, fuck up, man. Fucking piece of shit. I agree with RSM about most things. I disagree with about, and it's because I like, until they prove me otherwise, like I have no reason to think they will. It's the January thing, bro. Like 2 years in a row, they've done fuck all in January. Like I don't count the Estugo thing. I don't count the Amugu thing. Like yeah.
Oh no, I meant the in terms of the drop off we had as the team. No, I meant the drop off that the team had. I don't think it's gonna happen again. So I think like we'll have a more steady season, but we won't be near challenging. We just know we'll be top four. That's it. Like that's pretty much the only thing we'll know the entire season.
I think the best that we can hope for is, and this depends on like other teams, is maybe at like third.
Yeah, the only team, that'll depend. I think more so on City, because I see Arsenal probably still being in and around it. So it'll be like Liverpool, Arsenal guaranteed, and then it'll be City and us, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because again, Newcastle once again to me had to prove that they can handle being in UCL in the league. Because if it didn't happen last time and they made no signings, why would I assume it's gonna work this time? Like I'm being real. So if that's the case
as well, if they make some signings, I might be convinced. But
exactly, they have to make signings, and then Villa got to sell. So that's done already for me. That being the case, like I don't think that Spurs are going to advance enough, right? Don't even get me started with United. United are going to be like around 8th. I think that's where I predict, like 8th, 6th. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think we're going to be in top 4 all season. But my issue is we're not going to be learning anything this season. That's why it's a wasted season for me. Like we're just gonna waste time, because the best that we can hope for is a domestic cup. I'll be realistic, because we're not winning the champs, we're not winning the league. So it's like a domestic cup, but we don't advance really. Like we don't challenge like we want to be this season.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. But hey, like I said, things can change. There's like, it's hard not to think this way, but I gotta keep repeating to myself, there is still more of the window to go. the links haven't been there, but we still have like 2 more months of potential things will come up and pop in, and things can change, right? Like Kudus is still out there. Things can happen with that, and that can be for us a needle mover in a sense, right? And then there's other examples as well where maybe another striker comes in. Who knows? Center back links have been a little weak, but maybe the Gahey links reignite. Maybe Jared Branthwaite does actually become an option. Things can happen in the window, and we'll see. I think it's going to be a heavy selling window, though. So just keeping that in mind as well.
It has to be, bro. We've got like 15 players we need to sell.
Yeah, we have too many players.
You got so many that we need to sell, man. Bloody hell, mate. But the good news is this time they want to leave. It's not like last year where they didn't want to leave.
By the way, just on that, I saw, because I'll be honest, when it comes to outgoings, I'm not really caring too much. Like, I'm not focusing on that moment because I think they will get done. But Lucas has talked about this, and I saw someone else tweet about this. Next season, and I already know what they're going to do, so I'm probably just shouting at clouds, to be honest. We cannot have a third year in a row of having 15 players we need to sell again.
Right, probably will, though.
You had it last year. You're going to have it again this year. Next year can't be needing to sell 15 players again.
I'm saying, man.
You can't be having a bomb squad every fucking year.
This groundwork that they were doing. Let's see, because I ain't seeing no fucking groundwork. If anything, I'm seeing a collapsing bridge. That's what I'm seeing. But all right, ladies and gents, 3 hours 45. It's been a lot of news happening.
I'm getting £5 from this, guys. You know what I mean? I'm getting £5 from this.
Going a lot longer.
The price goes up, man. The price goes up. The price goes up, man.
We'll see.
My man said yesterday's price isn't today's price. What a fraud, bro.
But big up to every single one of you in the chat. Big up to every single one of you guys in the panel. Big up to everyone in general watching in the future as well. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on everything we're going to be discussing today. If you are watching this while you're at work and all that stuff, hopefully you enjoyed the content. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the action right there with Ahmed trying to fucking do the Desiree Doué with fucking a spider, pulling a Doku on him. If you enjoyed the content, smash up the like button on your way out. We're going to be raiding to Lee Gunner. So go ahead, copy and paste the raid message. Let him know.
Paid and proven, man. Paid and proven.
Let him know where you are coming from by copying and pasting that raid message over in his chat. Also, what I will say, ladies and gents, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out tremendously. Like I said before we get into the summer, this is going to be happening more consistently. We will be having the Casually Chelsea show and talking about news. Also, there will be reactions to the Club World Cup. I think the next stream will be on Sunday. We're probably going to preview Club World Cup as well as talk about news for the Casually Chelsea show. Monday will be the match, so we will have a match reaction for the Club World Cup. And then I believe Wednesday we will be here again. So yeah, just stay tuned for the schedule. You'll see it in the next show. Can I just say,
guys, yeah, Border Nation. I actually forgot it was going on.
What?
Border League, shout out to Border League, bro. I actually forgot it was still on, bro. But the game's the game, man.
This guy. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you know when we're going live. Copy paste the raid message, check out the links in the description, leave a comment, and more importantly, check out the memberships because there's 4 different tiers starting at 99p. First tier starting at 99p. I repeat one more time. The first tier starting at 99p. $1 or less than $1 for the fellow Americans. That helps out the channel tremendously. You get some cool emojis. We're going to be updating those soon. Trust me on that one. If you are a proper casual and higher tiered member, so that's the second tier, I believe, you get shout outs for at the end of every stream for staying in that membership, and it's going to go out to Daniel, TM127, EE, Dark, Adrian, A Solomon, all of who have popped in and out of the stream. So big up to all of you guys. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate every single one of you who are also members. We'll see you again on Sunday, and until then, stay casual, peace, and have a good night.